That guy's ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, he.
Am I there? Am I here? Is he happy?
Wow. All right. 8 minutes to fix all this stuff that's broken. Okay. Here we go.
Now I hear you.
Yeah, that one's good. Should be. That should be.
Mm.
Okay. There you go.
Now I got me.
There you go.
Now I can back off. All right, cool.
Let's see. Let's try and get.
Where's the coffee?
All right.
Where's
All of this should be going. Let's see here. I'm going to need to. I don't think I've restarted this thing literally
Yeah.
in like 2 years.
Like my phone. Suddenly it'll go like, oh, you can't have access to phone for 15 minutes. Like, what?
Hello to everybody watching on YouTube, and we'll be firing this off shortly.
shows up everywhere. Hey, what's up? Good morning, Woodsman.
Oh, yes, exactly. Good morning, Roadkill, and to all our other friends out there watching on Island Moon Live on YouTube. We will be getting fired up shortly. Just in case you missed it, this is this is you listening to Jacob Oggs and Tyler Thorson, Dr. Brian Gully on KUKA Driscoll, Texas, 105.9 and 103.3. You have found your magical way unto Corpus Christi's great retro country. Thank you very much to our buddy Ed Aconius for the handoff, and let's get the ball rolling. We've got Dale Rankin here joining us as well. A lot to get to this morning. Happy New Year to everybody. Did you have a great New Year, Doc?
I did. A lovely one.
Oh, let me make sure the mic is up. I turned up the wrong one. There you go. Okay, do we have you?
Yeah. I had a great New Year's.
Nice. Well, it is very windy today, so I've got the gain turned way down, so everybody's going to have to eat the mic. Dale, that's never really a problem. You're one of the best modulated, voices on radio.
Get between me and a hot mic.
Yeah.
Well,
Outstanding.
we had a we did a show last week with Joaquin Carrasco that didn't make it on the radio air, but it's still up on the Island Moon Live.
Yes. You can go to Island Moon Live. We've got live videos as well as our specials that we did one for Thanksgiving, we did one for Christmas, and one for New Year's as well. So those aren't in the live section, or if you can't find the videos from the week, just go to the live section on Island Moon Live on YouTube. And we need to get Ed to square out some time to play that.
Yeah.
We cut about an hour
Yeah.
with he and his wife Nicole. They've been doing humanitarian work over in Ukraine, and the stuff he was saying was just incredibly eye-opening.
Yeah, they're driving cars over from London. I think Brian and I are going to drive one over.
I told my wife the other day, and she said, "You're going to do what?" Yeah, I think Dale and I are going to buy a car in UK for an ambulance, and we're going to drive it all the way to Ukraine.
You're not going to get attacked by a lion, though. I mean, there's that.
No, there's other exciting things.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll find some kind of trouble to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stuck in the channel.
Well, just remember they drive on the other side over there. That's
Right.
Yeah, it's
Well, they were saying that that's a problem because in the Ukraine they drive on our side, but they're driving cars from England, so when they get them there, they're on the wrong side.
they're all right-hand drive.
Yeah,
Interesting.
right hands are easy. When you're on the wrong side of the car, left hand turns are the scary ones
Right.
because you want to turn into the incoming lane.
The first time I did one of those roundabouts, too, I was a little bit confused. But
Yeah.
it's pretty simple after you figure
Right.
it out.
Yeah, once you
On the wrong side of the road,
Lauren and I were talking about that the other day. How people down here just don't know how to navigate a roundabout, and
Yeah.
I'm used to some of the ones in Houston around, like the kind of hospital and museum district. Those are huge.
Yeah.
and
I lived on the Reforma in Mexico City, and it's a 12-laner.
yeah, that's a monster. Yeah.
And I get stuck in that thing, and I had Texas plates, and the police officer would walk across 8 lanes of traffic. Senor, I think there's a problem. So give them traveler's check. Sign it George Washington, and then go report it stolen.
Get them out of there.
Yeah. So we had a rather eventful ISAC meeting this week, Brian.
Yeah, it was. we have some issues here that we probably can talk about. One of them is the seawall. The seawall is such an important issue here because it's what gives us the ability to have reasonable insurance here
For a lot
flood
of people,
insurance for
yeah.
a lot of people, and so it covers most of the island. And if it goes away or is damaged severely, that could affect a lot of things. So the plan was a while back, and this was a good plan. The city would go to the people that own the seawall, which are those condominiums and stuff there. So there's many owners. I mean, way more than 100, maybe several hundred.
200 or 300.
Yeah, and they said they're going to have to get all of them to say, we want you to give us your land, your property, and your control over the seawall, and because at that point we can guarantee it'll be repaired. Okay, because if we had another disaster like happened back in what was
80.
that was
Alan was
1980.
80. Yeah.
yeah, what was that hurricane? That
Alan,
Alan.
yeah.
It wasn't even that bad of a hurricane.
Wiped it out.
Wiped it
Lot of
out
water.
completely. And if we had another one like that, you're not going to get those 300 people all pitch in and fix that thing. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So they basically said this is a $15 million project, more or less. And then Craig Thompson is the lead on that repair with Hanson, and Craig happens to be the chair
On
of
the
the
ISAC.
ISAC committee. Well, he's the chair of our ADP TERS #2 subcommittee, which has been in effect for about 13, 14 years. He's an engineer and very good, and so we have meetings once a month. Usually we'll have one, usually at my house, and that subcommittee meets and talks about these issues and brings them back to the full board. So Craig's on the inside, but even he doesn't know really what's going on. So this came up at the TERS #2 subcommittee this past month, an emergency meeting, when Brent Chesney came to us and said the Briscoe King, well, back up a little bit, the Briscoe King Pavilion is $2.1 million underfunded. And they had given them $5.9 million because that's what they said they needed, and we
For
gave
Briscoe
it to it
King.
up front for Briscoe King to rebuild that whole structure.
Right.
And what happened was they got the money up front, which we rarely do. They rarely do.
Yeah.
And then they came back and said, oh, by the way, we need another 2.1. And so when we went to the meeting and asked them why, the architect gets up and gives several reasons. With usual inflation problem, I said, well, we just gave you the money. How bad the inflation could
Right.
be since that time,
Seems pretty
And
strategic.
Like
the
a
other,
peso.
the other two reasons that she said was, well, we had to build a septic tank. Well, and then the third thing was, well, it was the city's fault. We had to have a fire lane. Well, everybody has to have a fire lane, and if you don't have a fire plug, you don't have a fire. You really need a fire lane, right? And to me, an architect, any architect,
Should have known that.
the first thing I would do when I look at a piece of property I'm going to develop, wetlands, no wetlands, okay. What's the elevation? What's our base flood elevation?
Yeah.
And the very next thing is, where are our utilities?
Yeah.
And what's our safety deals with it?
How-
What are we going to be required by the city or the county or somebody to put in? And that's usually fire, because
And this, you're telling me this wasn't taken into consideration when
I
they
don't
were.
know. I don't know how they missed it, but that was my question going the whole time: is how in the world can you be an architect and let little things like that slip by you? That should have been the very first thing you considered.
Yeah, if I go to a client and say no, it's going to cost an extra $4,000 to $5,000 because I didn't check the airspace, they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, you're a drone pilot.
Yeah,
shouldn't that
yeah.
be kind of the first thing you do?"
That's
I
right.
think there was some issue, and we'll get the commissioner back on. I think there were some issues with having to sink pilings under the foundation.
I heard something
A
about
lot of
that too.
pilings,
But
like 40
but,
of 'em.
But again, the very
Engineers
first thing
should've-
you do
Yeah.
is you check what your subsoil is, right?
Yeah.
Well, they
are you
did
going to
that.
need piers? Or are you going to need?
Dale-
Usually on sand, you build that thing right on top of the sand. Every structure on this island, most
Yeah.
of them, are built right on the flat surface of this almost washed sand. It's got a PI that's incredible, right? PI is your plasticity index, and so you look at clay, and it's got a super high PI because it expands and
Moves
contracts,
around.
Yeah.
right? But sand has the lowest PI, which means it doesn't matter if it's
It's
wet
static.
or dry or anything; it stays right where
Well,
it is. Right?
Dale had some really good photos when they went and started doing their initial studies on the seawall. When they dug behind it, looked down and they saw that the base was in great condition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everything that's under the sand that's been protected is fine. It's the things that have been, that
Yeah.
fascia that's been worn by the, our great little breeze.
So there
we
was
had
so
down.
the TERS set aside they committed $15 million, but they didn't have $15 million.
Right. So the man shows up from the condos, one of the owners, and he was very nice about it. He was upset when he got there, and he says, "I got there, I calmed down." And he says, "Look, we did our part. You came to us and said we want your property.
Yeah.
And we all got together.
Yeah.
And we gave you our trust in our property.
Yeah.
And in return, you were going to take possession of this thing, which you did, and you're going to fix it. And now you're saying not only we don't know when we're going to fix it, but we don't know where the money went, you know?" And so this was brought up by Carolyn Vaughn when they said we need the $2.1 million. We're going to take it out of some extra FEMA money from
Yeah.
the channel. And she says, well, what do I hear about this not having enough to do the seawall? And should you not take care of that priority first?
Yeah.
And so this went a huge back and forth between the county and the city, and so mostly all the city council members and the county commissioners and the county judge and
Yeah.
the mayor, and everybody's in that committee. And so I just sat and kept my big mouth shut and never said a word, but I just listened. And there was an issue of Brent saying, well, you know, we pay for our share of the TERS money that goes to city projects. And what I wanted to say was, well, doesn't the county also get to tax these city projects when they come up vertically, and they're taxed? You either get the money in the TERS, or you get the money for your own projects
Yeah.
on the western side of the county. So we're all in this thing together, and the counties and the cities and the school district and all the taxing entities.
Not
And
Delmar,
unfortunately,
you know.
Delmar,
Well, when
Delmar, Delmar gets a huge chunk, and they don't participate at
Anymore.
all.
Yeah.
Which brings up something that I will talk Wednesday to one of the board members about seeing why they can't come
Yeah.
back into the TERS and some, 50% level or something, because they get a lot of money from this island, a
Yeah.
lot of money,
yeah.
and yet they don't have to service a lot of students from this area, because
Right.
I don't know what the statistics are, but I'd be willing to bet most of these people out here go to the university.
Yeah.
And so there's multiple issues, like Dale said, but we need to find out where the money is, and that's gonna be at the next meeting. They're supposed to give us a report. How far are we off to start this? And it's gonna be several phases to repair this seawall.
Yeah.
But it's so important.
Well,
out
at
here.
that same TERS meeting, the city manager mentioned that there may be some Type A or Type B sales tax money available. And there was also $2 million that came out of the TERS that went into the capital improvement budget. So there's $2 million there. That's what's paying for the work that's being done this year. And you can't do all $15 million in 1 year. So,
Right.
So you do $2 or $3 million a year, and
Yeah.
the work continues to go on through the money that's in the capital improvement budget, is my understanding. And then there's at the next TERS meeting, I think they'll probably address.
Well, the biggest problem is we got overcommitted, and I don't know how. I
Yeah.
really don't know how this happened, but we overcommitted on projects with TERS money.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's based on an assumption of how much the economic development is going to be on this
Right,
island.
right.
So if the two big projects
yeah.
don't come out of the ground as fast, or not selling lots as fast
Yeah.
as they could, and so therefore set the value of all that property, or how many lots are developed,
Yeah.
then we don't meet our projected marks.
Yeah.
And now we don't have the money to do the projects we approved.
And the TERS is not a credit card.
No,
Yeah.
And
no.
it seems to me like the way that a lot of people are approaching this is they're just saying, hey, no, we'll just take the money out of the TERS. What's
Right.
in the TERS?
Well,
and someone says
no.
8 million.
No, there's 400,000.
And then-
Yeah.
yeah.
We got the report.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I'll give you an example. If you look at the projects we've done, the skate park, the park over here at that we're doing,
Commodores.
the Commodores Park. All those things are good, quality of life issues, and everyone gets to use them, and they're great. But they don't immediately put money back into the TERS.
Yeah.
What puts money in the TERS is the ad valorem tax value of the projects that are in the TERS.
So, and the TERS, for people who aren't aware, is the tax incremental reinvestment zone.
Reinvestment zone.
Which is, people were complaining about TERS a while ago because they thought that there were other parts of town that weren't getting money. But let me give you a good example. TERS 1 was the downtown one, right? Was that the first one that started?
Right.
I believe
And-
it
Well,
and
I think so. Well, here we got someone
Right.
who tells
Speaking
Greg
of Greg
Smith here.
Smith joining us. Good morning, Greg. Happy New Year, buddy.
On there. The first TERS was actually had to do with the aquarium, and it's extinct now.
Okay, that's right. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Hang on.
but
Let me
TERS
check this.
2 is,
So basically, what happens is property tax on new construction is remitted back into the TERS fund at 50%, I think, from the city.
It just depends on the TERS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put it any which way you want with it, and it.
And it's only for the certain area.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
not the whole island. Basically, the commercial corridors
Yeah.
and whatnot.
No.
And we've published the TERS 2 map in the Island Moon several times.
And people still keep asking where the boundaries are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
because it's not straight. It
Doesn't
goes around.
it doesn't include residential for the most part.
Yes, you can only have a very limited amount of residential, so it is definitely the commercial.
Well,
and
what
then
are
the
the-
money that's collected from the TERS can only be spent for public improvement projects, right?
No.
You can't build someone's pool with that money. You can't.
yeah,
you know.
you can.
Well, it was done. That was
They
the
did.
joke. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the North Beach TERS on there, they did build somebody's pool.
RV park pool.
It was the RV park, and yeah. So,
I was going to go there with my own Hogan floaties.
I
and
think
go
I
in
could
and
use
swim.
one of those.
Exactly.
yeah.
I can tell you what we try to do is we try to keep all these things in public use things. In other words,
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyone in the town in Moody or the West Side or Cal Island that comes to the island has projects that make this island better and quality of life. And that's why the mobility part of this plan, that's where a lot of this money went. On either side of the new bridge, we're trying to get a mobility plan that will allow people to take bicycles or walk or even
Yeah.
a golf cart and be able to get to any part of the island.
Yeah.
And to do that, we got to cross bridges.
And we heard something-
Someone's got to build those little those
Right.
those little bridges.
We
over
heard something yesterday that was new. There's I believe it's $18 million or 14 that's available in federal money to implement that plan, the mobility plan. But there's a time limit on that. It's got to be, the city council's got to have it approved by sometime later this year. So that the island mobility plan has got to get in front of the council and get approved in the next 2 or 3 months, or that I think it's $14 million goes away.
Well, I think we have approved it at ISAC, and
You
that's
have.
the first step. And
Yeah.
we've already gone through it. We've had all these multiple meetings.
Yeah,
We had them at my house.
it's on the,
Greg just shakes his head.
it's in the inbox at City Hall.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing because we have the Trestle Bridge, which is a $12 million grant, and it's been out there for about 4 or 5 years. And TxDOT finally said, "Look, guys, you have to go to construction by October of this year, 2026, or that money's gone."
Yeah.
And we're looking at the same thing, years and years of studying and
So, Greg,
talking and yakking and everything.
let me ask you the important question here. Of course, TxDOT's just saying if you don't do these projects that you say you're going to do, it's gone.
Yeah.
What took us so long? Why?
We got to have a study.
We have to have enough studies to have a study of the study. We've got under the bridge there 2018 bond, so we're 8 years
Yeah.
into it. We've thrown most of the
4
money
studies,
away.
right?
Studies and engineers.
Three studies that I know of for Muddle and Puddle,
Yeah.
just to confirm that yes, it is a wetland.
Yeah.
Well, now
it's
it came.
not a wetland anymore.
It-
It's
or
a-
it
It's
came
not a
out
wetland,
at-
that's the thing. Yeah, sorry.
It
I
came out
misspoke.
at the
Not a wetland.
ISAC meeting that there's $2.1 million all of a sudden.
If you give me $2.1
I don't
million,
know.
and I'm going to give you an example because you remember we did the two boat ramps over here at Clem's, and I watched that project and all the different people fighting, and then the TxDOT being hard to deal with, and then the GLO and the city, and everybody's working on this project. Meanwhile, I'm sitting over there and I'm trying to fix up Marker 37, right? I don't have that kind of money. I don't have any money.
Yeah.
And so they're I'm watching the freeway and they're cutting the asphalt, right? You know how they have the cuttings, so they have this asphalt. And it belongs to the state or the city or a county can get it
Yeah.
if they need it for a project. And so I go talk to the guy and go, how's this thing work? And he says, well, I got to take it to the other side of town and put it in a big pile for the state, and then the county, anybody can use it. It's a government. I said, well, why don't you store it on my parking lot? It's wintertime. Nothing's going on at Market 37. He said,
See, that's
because
efficiency right there.
I got to get it out of my way. So I said,
Yeah.
why don't you store it over there? And if you don't mind putting a whole bunch of different piles all over the whole parking lot, I'll be fine with that. Knowing that I do that you can't, the last couple of inches you can't pick up
Yeah.
without
Right.
scraping it in my parking lot. Well, he likes it because he doesn't have to take it very far.
Yeah.
And ultimately, there may be less to haul out anyway because some of it's going to be stuck in my parking lot. There it sits to this day.
Yeah.
So, well, there's spending millions of dollars over there putting limestone and stuff down, building 2 boat ramps
Yeah.
that they end up making too narrow.
Yeah.
So they're only one boat each way. I'm
Yeah.
sitting over there 2 bigger ones right here.
And that's not
that
even
I-
including the Memorial Day traffic with some guy and his girlfriend's backing the trailer in and just,
Yeah.
squirreling it
Oh,
down
yeah.
the side.
Oh, yeah. And then, in the ultimate wisdom of whatever government ADA deal says, they need to have a wheelchair access to a
Yeah.
boat ramp. Now, I don't know. I built a ramp over at Market 37 several years ago because we would always do the Wounded Warriors thing to build a wheelchair in the boats. It's not that big of a deal, but they built it onto this boat. But instead of building one, because I don't know if you notice how many people in wheelchairs get in and out of boats all the time, but I think one ramp would be enough on one side.
They went from 2 ramps on each side to 1 ramp on each side.
One ramp, but it's got 4. You can do 4 wheelchairs at a time.
That's a lot of rolling
That's
coolers.
a lot of rolling stock, right?
Yeah.
And so, while they're doing all that, it took me literally, I don't know, a month, less than a month. And next thing you know, I'm at my parking lot. I'm out with a skid loader, spreading it all out when it's all over. It's free.
So,
What brings that point is, and if you look underneath that bridge, and we all drove over here just now, it's a drainage issue for one.
Yeah.
And that means what? It means sand, fill.
You need
some
to
kind of
raise
fill.
it up.
So you need fill. And so what does the city have from time to time on their projects? Extra fill. I know because they did it on Jackfish the other day, right? And I got some of that fill, and the other guy down here got a whole bunch of it, way enough to do that whole project for free. City owns it. City.
We got
takes
some
it.
at the dog park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can put the fill in for free because it's yours, and that project is got to be trucked somewhere.
Right.
And then put the cuttings on top. And if you put enough base in the cuttings, it's just as good as the stuff right across the street, which is nothing but limestone, right?
yeah.
And so as long as it drains and as long as it's base and you don't push through to the sand,
We better have a study, though.
and so you can get the material
Study.
literally for free. It's a matter of placing the material. And if you need to run a underground for a lighting or whatever, of course you do that. But
I
man,
thought you
it's a
couldn't get
simple
anything from the
project.
city for
It's a
free.
simple-
Well, they're
no,
going
it's it belongs to the city or the government. And the government, the TxDOT will give you the cuttings.
Well, they wouldn't do that with the glass vault. Remember that Barry or somebody was going to take all the glass, the recycling glass from the city,
Oh,
and
yeah,
they say,
that's
well, that's our property, so there's got to be a bid on it.
Oh.
Well, and you're walking back to your boat barefoot. I'm not sure if I want to walk on that broken glass, but
Well, they said that now that they're getting ready to. They're at 60% design on under the JFK, and they think that they may be able to go to bids by the middle of the year. But what struck me from the ISAC meeting the other night is they're only talking about right under the bridge. They're not talking about the parking lot on the other side, which seems to me if you're going to have your machinery working under the bridge, you do the whole thing at once. So hopefully that'll get rolled into the project after the next study determines
which
that.
area is that?
Right in front of Packery. Where
Yeah.
the part of the parking lot that didn't get paved the first time
Okay,
around.
okay.
So that needs to be included in the whole thing. While you got the machinery there, just do the whole thing and get it out of the
And
way.
I've seen the drawings. We published them in the Island Moon
Yeah.
years ago.
They
The
were done in
engineering is
04.
already done.
Going
It was
on
done
8
in
years.
04.
Going on 8 years. now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, and it's
parking lot.
that kind of
2018.
government inefficiency that just irks me. I'm
Well,
going to
it's
try
just
and
the
tell
wheels
this.
grind slowly.
Well, and that's the whole thing. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul on a bunch of this, and the TERS is endless money, and we'll just go ahead and have the TERS take care of everything, and it's just irresponsible government, and it's people it takes people being clever in order to get a bunch of this stuff done, which just it's one thing to be clever, but I hate having to rely on that to get us
There's
out of
just
all these jams that we
engineering.
paint ourselves into.
Well,
John Michael said it perfectly when they were in D.C. talking about getting Packery Channel set up. And the whole thing is it's not Packery Channel. It is a
Beach renourishment.
Yes, a beach
Yeah.
nourishment project, right? And I'm going to try and tell this story as correct as possible. My dad can kind of he can text me and fill in the details later. And good morning, Dad, if you're listening. Actually, he is. So these guys were building a pier, right? So this crew shows up with a bunch of creosote posts, and they start driving these posts in and then cutting these other things off. And they had all this creosote sitting there, and the guy says, "Well, got to haul this off." And the landowner was like, "Why do you have to haul that off?" He said, "Oh, we can't just leave it here. We can't throw it away. We got to take it to the dump and pay to dispose it." And the guy walks over and says, "Hey, I need one more pylon right here. And he had the guys take all those cut ends of the creosote and just drive one on top of the other, right? And you can put it in a landfill and pay for it, or you can just put it in the ground for free.
Right.
Yeah,
You
you
know?
can't even put it in landfill now. As a landfill owner, I can tell you.
Yeah.
It's anything with creosote on it can't go in the landfill, whether it's
Yeah.
a city landfill or my landfill.
But you can drive it in the ground for a
you
pylon.
can
and
use
they-
it for all the fence posts you want.
See,
But you can't put it in the water.
that's-
Can't put it in salt water.
Well,
Now,
Greg,
anymore. They did it for many years, and it works quite
while
well.
we have Greg here, I want there's the Encantada culverts have been in the news. In fact, it came up at ISAC the other night. We're kind of at an impasse determining whether we got a chicken and egg problem. We got to dredge the canal before we can put the box culverts in, and that's kind of where we're stuck. But where that project originated was with the Public Improvement District at Whitecap, was it not?
That's correct, and $1.5 million, I think it was, could be $2 million.
It was when the Whitecap people were doing their public improvement district, where they taxed themselves to borrow money to build their bulkheads, and as part of that agreement, they agreed to put a bridge. You negotiated that, right?
Yeah, it was actually with the TERS. So with the Whitecap people on there with it. So you had the Commodore's Bridge and Encantada. And so the TERS dedicated that to improve the circulation with it, and everybody said no problem. They looked at it, they got to looking a little bit harder at it, and they said problem on there. We need to go with box culverts.
Can't build a bridge.
You can't build a bridge, but with boxes on there, you can get a small boat through there, kayak,
Right.
these kind of things. But most importantly, it gives you the circulation. As far as the chicken and the egg, you drop the boxes in there, and if you get enough flow, it'll clean itself out.
Yeah. Well,
If you don't have enough, if you're restricted like those two 30-inch or 36s that they've got in there, there's not enough flow to keep them clean.
Yeah.
But originally, the Whitecap people were going to build the bridge
They were-
because they were
Whitecap
already
was gonna
building
do it,
5 or
yeah.
6 bridges, and they already had the crews that knew how to build bridges.
Exactly.
Then when it went from being a bridge to being culverts, it didn't make any sense for them to build it anymore, and so that's where things kind of fell out.
Yeah.
Well, the issue is that he was about to hit on is this: if the sand level's higher than your culverts, then there's a good chance it's going to be in your culverts as it moves back and forth. And
Right.
so the issue is, why put the culverts in until you dredge first?
Right.
But you got to get that sand out of the way, or the first time you put the culverts in, there'll be a foot of sand in it. So that, in this radio show, we were talking about that Dale that we had. Who was it that was on the show?
It
Dale?
was Rick McGinley.
Rick McGinley was
the
here,
executive
and
director.
we talked about this, and he made a statement that we held him to, that he says, if you have to worry, you will not have to worry about the POA.
yeah.
Because before
They're
the
gonna
city,
dredge
we're gonna dredge. You're not.
Yeah.
We promise we will not hold up the city and put these culverts in. We will have the dredging done before they do it, and we're gonna see at some point. But yeah, the box culverts will get a lot of circulation. If you've seen that area, first of all, that's 100 foot wide. It's not just a road.
Yeah.
It's 100 feet wide. The other problem is that's the nastiest water I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't eat a fish that came out of that water. I wouldn't get in that water for any reason. It's
When
brown
you
and
have to
nasty
have
and-
bubblers to keep the fish from dying. I
Yeah.
think there's kind of a line there.
Yeah.
You know, and if I were those people that lived off of Encantada, I'd be out there in the middle of the night with a hose trying to blast a bunch of that sand out. When they initially opened under the Don Patricio and broke the seal,
Yeah.
had water through. I get it. We had damage from Alberto because there was
Yeah.
one entrance and one exit. If Encantada was open and that pressure was relieved more, there's a good chance we wouldn't have
Yeah.
had that damage.
So as
You
we
know?
sit here today, there's no movement at Encantada. The city staff did say at ISAC the other night they're going to approach the POA and see if they can work out some kind of a schedule. So probably something will get done. Hopefully by the time the Commodore's Canal opens, open them all at once, and we'll all get on down the road. But that project is one that's just kind of it's gone from pillar to post,
Yeah.
and it's kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So we're talking timelines on there. I think we're 6 or 7 years in the timeline on that one.
Yeah.
So it would have been about 2020 is.
And
when
we've only had 2 real hurricanes in that time. We had Harvey, which didn't do much, and then we had Hannah. I guess it was Hannah that knocked out the
Yeah.
And the Bob, yeah.
Bob Hall Pier,
yeah,
and
Hannah.
then we had Alberto that got the bulkheads. and Alberto blew out those culverts. There was water flowing through there by
Yeah.
the time it was finished.
Yeah, well,
took a
then-
while.
Well, that's the problem. It's like how if they would have been open, right, and we would have had complete flow.
It
If
would have helped.
Commodore's was open as well. I don't think the bulkheads. There's a good chance the bulkheads wouldn't have failed
They-
because
it
that
certainly
water
would
had
have
enough
helped.
places to go. Now, don't get me wrong. The water's going to be flowing, and if
Yeah.
you've got bulkheads that you haven't touched or repaired or talked to Complete Foundation Repair about sorting out in
Yeah.
the past 40 years, wow, and you wonder why it breaks. It's like, well, I mean, come on.
Or they're too short.
Yeah. Well, but the other thing
Yeah.
is
They're too short.
You can't sit here and tell me that the canals on the island were meant to be closed and accessible only to the ICW.
Now, when the water flow studies were done, and this is something that gets lost in the ground clutter, the water flow studies were done prior to the damage of the bulkheads. Those studies assumed that you would have free flow of water under Encantada, and that affected the water flow rates
Yeah.
that came out of those studies.
And I know
And-
for a fact that some of the studies that were done, the water flow studies, when they were initially cutting the Don Patricio, didn't include Encantada actually flowing.
Yeah.
And people, they set the models, and I know one engineering company had to go to another one and say, hey, can we get your information for this because we don't have it included in our data,
Yeah.
and we want to see just make sure everything matches
There's a
to
lot
see
of-
if they were getting anything wrong.
There's been a lot of after the fact finger pointing done.
Yeah.
And if you go back and read those reports, the information is all in there.
It is, and going back to the bulkheads, so several hundred feet away, it was maybe 5 years ago, we had a similar collapse on a dead-end canal there at Michael Mays, and it's
Yeah.
really the
Still there.
bulkheads. It's, yeah. They're end-of-the-life bulkheads.
Better get a study.
Yeah.
And you can help that with some riprap or some bull rock or something.
Rocks.
Yeah.
Rocks work.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's what the city did. They came in and put in riprap around the edge of the Gypsy Bridge,
Yeah.
And Cruiser
Well,
Bridge, I believe.
if you look at
reinforce that.
at the Packery jetties prior to Harvey, there was some failure of that flex mat or whatever
Yeah,
they
yeah.
called it, and so the crews went in and just put in bull rocks. Well, along came Harvey, knocked down the rest of the riprap, but the bull rocks were fine. So now the whole canal is channel is lined with bull rocks,
yeah.
which didn't seem like it would. You didn't need a lot of studies to figure out, hey, let's put some rocks in there.
Yeah.
And those
Well,
rocks,
that's what they've been using for 4,000 years.
right?
Yeah.
You go back to even Alexandria. There's different places that had erosion anywhere along the coast of the Mediterranean. If there was
Rocks.
an erosion, they piled rocks in there till it stopped.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick radio break, and we will be right back. Stick with us.
Hicks Automotive Group in Corpus Christi has been your trusted family-owned dealership, offering the finest in Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, Subaru, and Infiniti vehicles. Commitment to our customers extends beyond offering superior quality luxury automobiles and service. Hicks
Padre Emily
That was
here.
2000.
It was,
With
no,
it-
it's not, it was after 2000, I'm trying to think when it was. right
Knocked the end off of Bob Hall.
No, the Packard Channel,
Oh.
before the crust, remember they were dredging? So Emily knocked that one off, Dolly hit down on South Padre, but remember it came over to the lagoon.
Emily
side and
opened the
came down.
Packery, didn't it, in 05?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dolly
remember
was
that day.
8, I think.
They had about a 75-foot plug in there,
Yeah.
and that came through and blew it out.
So in my
But I don't think that
in my property, a guy was out there and he's fishing and he said, "Man, there sure is a lot of seaweed here and a lot of current." And and I go, "What do you mean seaweed?" He said, "Yeah, it's a lot of seaweed. It's coming past real fast." I'm going, "Oh shit, that pass opened up." I got in my truck and drove out there and go, "Yeah, the pass is open."
Yeah.
So we hopped in the boat and went out through that thing.
So you were
we're
one of the
gonna be
first,
first one. I didn't go very far.
You,
Let me
you
tell
take a
I got
fishing
just-
rod?
Huh?
You take a fishing rod?
No,
Oh,
no, I didn't
okay.
fish at all. I didn't go very far out. I just turned around and came back.
Yeah.
It was rough out
Just
there.
to see, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a crazy year, that was the year of hurricanes, because Rita almost hit us and didn't, it went to Houston. That was our whole year from coast to coast.
You
That,
know
that
how
was
many-
05, Katrina.
Someone
Rita.
ought to do a report on how many hurricanes that were a Category 5 headed directly for Corpus Christi but never hit us.
Never hit?
Like
Gilbert.
Katrina, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
Katrina, Brit.
Rita, that's why we
What's
evacuated.
the one that hit down south here at the last minute turn and went south? Because I remember trying to get my
Brett.
boat out.
Alan?
Yeah, and the rain was stinging my back so bad, and I was trying to get my boat out.
That was Brett.
Yeah,
I rode it out in Louisiana.
yeah.
That's a bad place.
But it was headed for
I know.
Corpus directly at a
parked
Category
my
5.
RV
And
under
they
a
either
big
lessened or they
tree
turned away.
in Gonzales, Alabama. I mean, Louisiana.
Because you were
Louisiana.
there for Katrina. You were in Gonzales.
And
for
I was
Katrina,
living in the French Quarter in an RV, and they said there's a hurricane coming, so we go to Gonzales, about 60 miles out, and I parked this RV I was driving under a tree, and the guy that owned the house said I wouldn't park under that tree, and I moved it down. Sure enough, it lived about this big around. It would have cut that thing right in half. But I rode it out. It was mostly just wind and rain. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Floods.
It wasn't terrible, but it's a hurricane.
It was in the Straits of Florida, between Florida and Cuba, when they said it's heading straight for Corpus. Katrina had happened. Everybody panicked. Lloyd Neal called the evacuation on
Yep, I
there.
remember.
And you had the people in the nursing homes in Alice. They evacuated the nursing home. They headed up towards Beaumont, and the
Got
bus
hit.
crashed. And, I don't know, 10 of them
Coming
died
back.
or something. Yeah,
Really? Well, it hit right there. It went.
Yeah.
That's where it hit.
yeah.
You know, I think, one of the safest places, we got thick brush here in this brush company. If you have elevation, you just crawl back in that brush and let that crap blow over you.
Yeah.
You're safe as hell. You don't have to go to Houston.
Hide from wind and run from water.
Now, live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks, it's Island Moon Thursdays.
Anything to save your house from hurricane.
That's right.
elevation,
We're back. Welcome, everybody, to KUKA, Driscoll, Texas, 105.9 and 103.3. Tyler Thorson, Kim Irwin joining us, real estate extraordinaire. Dale Rankin, we got Greg Smith, Dr. Brian Gully. There's even been a Nick Colosi sighting. And my name is Jacob Hoggs. We're glad you're with us on a gorgeous and breezy Island Moon Thursday. Kim, these are side address microphones, so we're just going to aim right into the side. I've got to get the mics to where you have to almost eat it. If not, the wind will get it. And we're set up a little out of the wind today, and it's still pretty breezy. So,
A little.
yeah.
So thank you for being here, Kim. We want to cover a couple of topics. We want to talk Mardi Gras because
Oh, it's my favorite.
And we also want to, but let's start with real estate. You've been in the real estate business here on the island for many years. What's the market like right now? Where are things going?
It's interesting. It's my 42nd year, and I've been licensed for 32 years in Texas. But the market is starting to come back. This is my 6th downturn. The last one was the fourth quarter of 08 and a few years after. But what's interesting about this one, it kind of defies the odds for economy. If you look at it, your stock market is doing very well. And it always works opposite of real estate. So when the stock market is up, people are investing. They're not buying real estate unless they're going to live in the house. You don't
Right.
see that second and third home buyer. So it's different. The interest rates are coming down. But I guess the home affordability is not there right now, especially on Padre Island.
Very true, yeah.
Your property taxes went up, flood insurance and windstorm. So if you're going to get a loan, about 1/3 of your house payment goes to your tax and insurance escrows. And people that move here can't even believe it.
Yeah.
And it's high. But you know what I say, you have to pay to play. So if you want to live on Padre Island, it's going to cost a little
Well,
money.
I ran the tax rates in this issue of the Moon of all the cities around here, and we're up there. We're not. We're above well above the middle. Our city tax rate it went up steadily over the last 5 or 6 years, and that shows in the checks that we're writing. So, are houses selling? What kind of houses are selling, and what kind of houses are not selling?
Here's what's really interesting. Well, first of all, the luxury home market is down. I mean, it is what it is.
The luxury market you're talking about.
Let's say $1 million plus for Padre Island. Just say $1 million plus. It's usually considered a lot more than that in other areas. But interior lot homes are selling. And what's very interesting, if they have a pool, people want to buy it. They don't necessarily want to be on the water because of the upkeep and affordability. So you could sell a $600,000 interior lot home, that means non-water, with a pool, they sell all day long. And then the other thing is the waterfront home market has come down a little bit. 2 of my listings, one sold on Tajamar for $485,000.
That's pretty low for a waterfront.
Yeah,
That's cheaper than an interior lot with a pool. But this
Yeah.
other sale was at the other end of the island. I can't report on that until it actually closes. Over 2,500 square feet for $525,000 with a pool
On the water.
on the water.
Wow.
Needed remodeling, but that's subjective. When you buy the house, you can remodel.
I mean,
it,
who
do what
does
you
it
want.
these days? Am I right? Yeah.
So the interior lots are selling because the maintenance is less?
The maintenance
time?
over time, and people. A lot of buyers will tell me they use a pool before they use the water.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're on Padre Island. Why wouldn't you want to be on the water? And the other thing is you can take a golf cart from your house, go across South Padre Island Drive. They don't want you to drive up and down it.
Right.
And go to the beach.
Right.
To some of the buyers, it's more lucrative. They like that a whole lot. But here's the thing about Padre Island. Our market is a lot better than Port Aransas right now. And I love Port Aransas, don't get me wrong. But we're turning a lot more houses.
So
Really?
is that because of the affordability? I know a lot of places in Port A, they've experienced a lot of big price hikes, right?
Well, some parts of the market, like on your multifamily, cannibalize their own market.
Yeah.
You had a lot of new construction, you have existing. And here's what's interesting. If you wanted to go buy a condo on the Gulf of Mexico, I guess maybe it's my age, I would think that's pretty desirable. You're on the Gulf. You can go across the street on those big condo projects. They have like a $750,000 pool, $500,000. People are buying it because if they look at that pro forma, if you rent it for this at this price, this is how much you'll net. You should never sell a property or buy it based on those statistics.
Right.
Yeah.
Buyers do. So they'll go across from the Gulf of Mexico, buy a condo, and then the ones that are sitting there right on the Gulf aren't selling. It's just the craziest thing.
Well, you can put those in the rental pool, right?
You can. The rental market's been off about 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, people are spending money. You have the COVID prices. So, when COVID hit, people are buying homes from their home, showing up,
Yeah.
and they'll close with a mobile notary or online because you have the online notary service, and the prices kept going up because the inventory was going down. Right now, it's the reverse. They bought really high, and they can't sell
They're
at a
upside
very low
down.
price. Correct.
So they're sitting on property that they might want to sell, but they really can't without taking a loss.
That's correct. That is.
And
right.
if they've been paying a mortgage, they're probably paying down the debt, and they still owe the principal.
Yeah, they're paying the interest right now.
Yeah.
And they're not even hitting their principal.
Well, what about building? Are there new houses being built?
There are a few new houses, and you got the new subdivision of Whitecap Development, and there are some new homes selling. But here's the thing: right after COVID, the building cost went up, so it was cheaper to buy an existing home, remodel it, than it would be building new construction. And then you had that supply chain that was greatly slowed. I mean, it was all over.
Right.
And then the tariffs on lumber, it's a little expensive. So I was talking to Cairo and Sarah Azali, and right when those tariffs hit, they bought a lot of lumber. They just stockpiled it. So
Probably
they
a
kept
good
their
move.
affordability
Yeah.
down.
I had a buddy of mine was building his house in the Bluff, a longtime listener to the radio show. Built his house in the Bluff just before one of the big jumps. And he was talking with the contractor, and the guy said, "Man, you got in just before the door closed." And it was a significant amount to what they were spending on building the house.
Well, I watched the construction permits on the city, and there haven't been a lot of them. I don't see a lot of building going on. More in Port Aransas than here.
So as hopefully interest rates come down and it turns into, what do you see the market swinging back this year? What's the prediction from the experts?
They do. So the National Association of Realtors say that after the first quarter, there's going to be an uptick on the real estate market. So when the National Association of Realtors talks about the market, we're talking all of the United States, not Texas.
Yeah.
I think Texas is very unique like Florida. We still have buyers that want to come here, and it's a desirable state to live in. But one thing you forgot about on new construction and affordability, you have what's called that 3-2-1 buy down. So like D.R. Horton, will do this for buyers, and then like Amastagashis and our different builders. So I'm going to give you an example. You start out with the interest rate is 3.5% the first year. The second year will be 4.5%, and then the third year through the end of the term of the note will be 5.5% interest. Locked, it's fixed. And so a program like that costs between $20,000 to $25,000 average for the seller to pay in order to get a buyer in and have a house payment that's affordable.
So the seller,
Yeah.
that's what comes out of the seller's side.
A seller's paying for a lot of stuff right now.
So how ridiculous is a 50-year mortgage?
Funny you brought that up. I was talking about that last night.
50-year mortgage.
It's called
Collect from the grandkids.
It's called home affordability. So look at your younger generations. They don't spend a lot of money. They work out of their home, and there are 2 to 3 people buying a house or 2 couples. I don't know how that's going to even work because I couldn't share my house.
Right.
But they're doing that, and they take that long term because it's affordable. So it's their house and their workspace, and it works for them. So, I mean, I probably would sell 1 home in my lifetime to that person.
Well, and
But
I-
Austin is full of those.
Yeah.
Downtown Austin
Yeah.
is full of those. They're 2-bedroom condos, and they're working out of 1 bedroom and living in the other.
and-
And there's high rises going up as fast as they can dig holes and put them in the ground.
And what about commercial real estate? Has that been influencing the market at all?
No, but that has been very sluggish. It is really, really slow.
It seems like post-COVID, it never really recovered. Am I kind of right there?
You're right, because your small businesses failed, and
Yeah.
they're still failing.
Wow.
That's
need-
the sad part.
We need retail space on the island, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Retail. What's being built over there by my old hotel on the Best Western? What is that?
That's
big
the
development?
church.
Real Life is putting in a big place over
All
there.
of that giant thing is a church.
And there's, what is it, Catch and Crab? There's
Well, I think
another
there's-
restaurant
it's
coming
more
in.
like a-
It's
Catch and
coming in the
Crab or
summer of
something. I don't know.
2019.
I know it's being built by the church, and I think a bunch of that is going to be like community space and some other things. We'll have some people in, I'm sure.
I've been
to
talking to
talk
them.
about
They're
it. Yeah,
they're
Good.
doing.
That's huge.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big.
They're over
it's
there
a big
working
project.
when I came by today.
I couldn't get home the other day because of those big trucks are hauling fill in.
Well, that's
Yeah.
But we're kind of out of space on the island for new residential.
You're getting there until you open up those other areas.
The ski basin.
Yeah, the ski basin, but why would you do that? That there's not a market there to put your infrastructure in and set
Yeah,
it up.
yeah.
You know, even if you have a lot of money, you're not going to take good money to chase bad money.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure you know the numbers on this a lot better than we do. When was it, Dale? We were talking about the amount of empty lots on the island went from like 1,000 to
Yeah.
100 in no time. What was
Yeah.
the deal with that?
That's because of the affordability. So when I moved here, you could buy an interior lot home for $1,000.
Yeah.
And so these were foreign owners. They had to pay at that time a 10% FIRPTA tax, the foreign investment tax. So if it sold for $1,000, $100 went to the government, and then they started paying everybody like your commissions, title policy. So then the builders really saw the value of this, and there was such a rush to buy lots. Family members, I won't say which builders, were buying them and flipping them to another family member and then buying another lot. They had like a 5 to 8 year inventory of interior lots.
Cindy Muller was involved in that.
Yes, she
early
was.
on. And then I remember she told me she was at Colwell, and she said they were building these houses on interior lots and selling them for whatever they were selling them for. And she kept telling them, if you just pay a little more and buy a waterfront lot and build the same house, you can sell it for half again more. So finally, they ran out of interior lots, and somebody bought a waterfront lot. Went, hey, I can sell this house for. And next thing you know, all the waterfront lots are getting bought up, and they're building spec houses on them all
They-
over the island.
Very much.
Yeah.
The first waterfront lot that I ever sold was $12,500 in Port Sacal. Gee, I wish I had more money than brains back then.
Well, for
Seriously.
years, I would talk to Paul Snecksnyder, and I'm sure you guys did too. Because he had the ski basin, and they kept talking about developing it one fingertip or 2 fingertips at a time. You build 1 or 2 out, you put in the infrastructure, then you just roll the money on and you keep going. But nothing ever happened. And then he went through the bankruptcy, and now it's ended up with Axis Capital.
Yep.
And they're fat and happy because they got it on a credit buy. And so their hair's not on fire.
No, they can sit there forever in perpetuity. They bought it right.
And they've got that land, and they've got the land, 240 some acres over behind Aquarius. That it's just land just sitting there. But between that, you're talking about nothing being built in the TERS. You got the Lake Padre, which is kind of not coming up out of the ground.
No.
So we don't have a lot of new construction to feed money into the TERS.
TERS, that's right.
The good news is we've got bridges everywhere.
We got lots of bridges. We don't have any water flowing under them because we like to build bridges with no water. Somehow corpus that deal up. But at some point, I assume the water will come through the canals.
I've got a good Kim story for you. You don't remember this probably, but back in 2001, I had just moved here like in '98, and I thought I wanted to get, didn't want to have the expense of a Seattle house. I thought I'm going to buy something over here, in God's country, Flower Bluff, or over the King High School. So about 2001, I go over there and I'm just ate up with getting a house on the canal, and Kim showed us a house on Caravelle, and it was $159,000, and it was one of those. Caravelle's got the water going underneath the bridge because it's a great fishing thing. So I
Right.
thought,
Yeah.
this would be a great one to go turn over.
I used to live right there.
Yeah, and it was one of those '70s houses. It had a bathroom right off the kitchen and the master bedroom right by the kitchen, and then stairs. It was like, it was kind of weird.
Mirrors
But-
on the wall.
Oh yeah, but
No, that was Portofino.
but we just couldn't turn the house in time, and it was just like, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda. And now we see. Then after COVID, these houses like, oh, I've got tons of money here. How much do you
Well, I
want?
moved back here from Miami, and I was looking at real estate, and I thought, I could buy a house on the island for $125,000. I kept thinking, what the sewer line must be plugged up or something. There's got to be something wrong.
Well, the migration continues. You have an article, something you found, Dale, where people moved in 2025, and Texas is the top. We're
Yeah.
the best. Yeah, we're the best, guys. Top growth according to U-Haul, according to people coming. Texas, Florida, North Carolina, followed by Tennessee, South Carolina, Washington, and Arizona. And I found a map of 2023 migrations, and apparently the pattern's continuing.
North Carolina all of a sudden has become a destination for baby boomers to retire.
yep.
Mooresville and Lake Norman, all of that area. In fact, Bob Corbett just moved over there from here.
I've got some friends that I work with that still run a business down here, but from South Carolina.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things they decided. They were like, yeah, because they have some family on the East Coast, so they wanted to be a little closer to them. But it's, yeah,
Well,
I'm
Kim,
I'm
are you
seeing it.
seeing any change in the buyers that are coming in?
Yes, as a matter of fact, and I was going to go back to North Carolina. So there's some professors that left Texas A&M and went to North Carolina, and I was so surprised they lived out here on the island.
Yeah.
And I asked them why, and they said just the culture and the way the state is run, and they liked it. There's more to offer, which
Yeah.
I guess you can like it, but
Well,
that
if
was
you're
interesting.
if you're a golfer, North Carolina's got a lot. North and South Carolina both.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
the in-laws. He's golfs every day, and he's got 7 golf courses that he can drive to from around
And
Lake
it's the same
Norman.
thing with Florida. You're seeing, but there's obviously golf everywhere. Golf and alligators, two things they have.
Right.
So
So your buyers, are we still seeing mostly from the San Antonio, Austin, Houston area?
A little bit further, I used to say if you put a pin on Padre Island and drew out about a 3-hour drive time,
Yeah.
that's about your second home. You can go another 2 hours out. So about 5-hour drive time, they're coming here. And what's interesting about Rockport is Houston would always feed Rockport Market.
Right,
It
right.
naturally did.
Yeah.
We're seeing more Houston people
You
coming
saw that
here.
after Harvey.
Yes.
It started after Harvey. You could see it in Port Aransas, where all of a sudden you started seeing people coming down from Houston. But so when people come down, how do you have any sense of how many homes on the island are second homes?
Well, it's getting to be less. It's becoming more primary homes.
Really?
And family oriented. Yeah, there is, like when you go up and down the street, as the crazy bike kids, you see them everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, my grandson's one of them. He just
Yeah.
doesn't listen, but they have nowhere else to ride. They ride
Yeah.
up and down the streets. But there's more families moving here and single people.
yeah.
Huh.
Really?
That's the difference. I think that once oil and gas really get going,
Yeah.
and you get some of those service-related industries with the oil and gas, you're going to see second and third homes right away, and that glut of multifamily is going to go away, especially over by the beach on Leeward and Windward.
So the oil money will come in, and that'll be second homes.
Second and possibly third if they go multifamily, like a condo.
Huh.
I do see that. That happened, after 08. If you look at your trends and go to Market Leader and you look at your cities and you can peg it, when you look at the center line of everything, you can see where they're coming from in the demographics. And then that's what you kind of look at, like for me, where I would want to market. So
Yeah.
if you break your market down by market segmentation, you can kind of identify buyers for different categories of properties.
I got you.
And everybody wants to get their money's worth, really, And if you're looking at selling that old car or truck, you need to go to Discount Motor Company and go talk to Frank.
Frank the Bank.
Frank the
Frank the
bank.
bank.
Talk to Frank directly. Don't go to talk to one of these people that's just going to plug it into their computer and then go talk to the manager for 20 minutes and they're actually out back sitting there smoking a cigarette and then come back and say, oh, okay, well, my manager said we can only do. No, don't waste your time going there. Go to Discount Motor Company. They're at 6601 SPID, just south of Turner's and just north of the movie theater.
Just
And-
this side of high prices.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll pay you
Left on the
500
corner, right on the price.
He'll pay you $500 more than what you get at CarMax, and because those people are just plug and play, they've got all that overhead. Go talk to Frank the Bank at Discount Motor Company, and if you're curious about traffic coming on and off the island, you can go to YouTube and just go to JFKCausewayCam.com and get a very clear view of how it's going. I know spring break is coming up; people are already talking about that. And if you want to check the traffic on the JFK Causeway Cam, go to JFK Causeway Cam on YouTube, and you can see that live feed right there, brought to you by Discount Motor Company.
You can. It's the the image is clear enough. You can see the guy that stole the barbecue pit right out of your backyard,
know, yeah.
driving over the bridge with it in the
you
back
can
of his
wave by
truck.
to it.
Let me tell you a real short, funny story that happened during Harvey with Frank De La Rosa. He was over the house, and we had several families staying in my house when the hurricane went through. And we were watching the part of the dock blow away when Clem's dock basically came through and took the end of my dock off when it floated
Really?
out.
Yeah.
And then the palm trees started blowing down. Took a big hit. So in the middle of this thing, we get a call from Priscilla Torres with Channel 6. And she says, I hear y'all are out on the island during the hurricane. Can you give us some kind of weather report? And so Frank had picked up the phone at my house. And so he comes out there, and we set this up. And we got the camera if someone's filming it, and he comes out with this windbreaker, and he steps out in that wind,
Yeah.
at this time blowing about 110,
Golly,
right?
yeah.
And he's hanging on the doorknob, but there's a windbreak right there that you have shelter that you don't see. It's right next to him, and this is blowing, and he's ticking back his head back in, and he's saying, everybody, this is an extremely dangerous storm. You need to shelter in place. It's very dangerous. There'd be imminent loss of life, and going on and on and on. And then about that time, my son and I walk out with a big styrofoam cup of Corona Coke in our bathing suits, and right next to him is our hot tub. We walk out and get in the hot tub, toast our deal like that, and there's like nothing going on, right? The Frank is being blown to shreds. And at the end, he says, and remember, find your vehicles at Discount Motors. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, the funny thing about it was they picked it up at Channel 6. Next thing you know, I get a call after the storm in Kentucky and another from Washington State, and they saw that on the TV. They put it on these other networks. And
The guy sitting in his hot tub.
because my wife's always making fun of that guy. She knows his name that's on TV when they put him out in the middle
Jim
of the storm.
Cantori.
Yeah.
That's Tyler's buddy. Yeah.
And he's 6 inches of water standing there, and it's, there's 35-mile-an-hour winds, which is normal for here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's out there acting like the storm's going to kill us all.
Well, they all want to be Dan Rather.
Yeah.
Made his bones in Hurricane Allen on top of the Galvez Hotel.
The
And so
Galvez,
everybody
that's
wants
right.
to be Dan Rather. Well, one thing, Kim, I noticed when I went to the party on Saturday night at your house, but I was in the parade this year. The first time I've
Right.
been in the parade in a while. And it's on the second night as we're going down the canals, I noticed how many empty houses there are. They're second homes, I guess. There's nobody home. I mean, it seemed like half of the houses are not occupied.
It would seem that way. That a lot of them were at La Posada parties.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
go
like
down
they
to
would
your
leave a
neighbor's house,
light
right?
on or
Yeah.
something.
No,
though,
they
you know?
shut them down. They don't want anybody to go there.
Yeah.
But but on the main canal, there's less lights. If you've noticed, like at nighttime, if you cruise through the main canal,
Yeah.
out.
Well, that's good.
To ICW, you don't see their lights. I'm
Light-
lit up, but other
Well,
than
light
that-
pollution is real pollution. It's
Yeah.
at night you don't. When the Humvee place came in, they fired up those lights. Man, people started complaining. You could see them all over the island. I think they finally turned them down.
Yeah.
But so somewhere around what 20 to 30% are second homes. Is
I
that
would say probably maybe under 1/3 of the market, more than a fourth, but under 1/3.
Around
Somewhere
30%.
there's a magic middle ground right there.
And so as the price of oil goes up or drilling increases, we'll see second homes displacing first homes.
Yes, I because it's not going to be affordable for first-time home buyers, or with taxes going up and different things, you'll see a transition of buyers again, and the market will drop. One thing about Padre Island, if you notice, it's like a roller coaster when it goes up,
Yeah.
and it drops,
Yeah.
and then there it sets. Right now we're on that climbing up. And I don't know if it'll be at the end of this year, but I think somewhere around this year for the next couple years, it's going to be an incredible market.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, everybody's saying, okay, they're at least the people that I'm talking with are saying, this being an election year, they're going to do everything they can to just, they used to call it quantitative easing, and it's basically just printing money. You know,
Right.
they call it different versions of printing money. But you know, it's the kind of thing they say. Well, you know, I told someone the other day, Dollar General and Dollar Tree are about to become, you know, Benjamin General and Benjamin Tree.
Yeah.
With all this money going up. But I will let you know that you've landed on KUKA Driscoll, Texas. It is 0801. We are live here on Island Moon Thursday at Docks on 105.9 and 103.3. Special thank you to our friends at Docks, and it's a beautiful windy day. I'm trying to modulate the wind in the microphones as best as we can and get this going. But we're glad that you're here joining us on 104.1 as well on Retro Tejano and on Island Moon live on YouTube. If you want to go back and watch this, or if you missed part of the show, you want to go back and listen to it, just go to YouTube and go to Island Moon Live. We've got Kim Irwin, Tyler Thorson, Nick Colosi's here. There's a Debbie Noble sighting as well. Dr. Brian Gully, Greg Smith, and Dale Rankin. My name is Jacob Oggs. We are glad you're with us again. And we've been kind of hitting on a bunch of different real estate aspects and stuff going on in the market. I mean, this is, you know, kind of, we're talking specifically Padre Island. Does it mean about the same for the rest of Corpus, or what's the difference between inland and the island?
There's a big difference. The south side is totally different. That market is still very strong. So if you look at your new construction, say the D.R. Horton homes on the south side, which is if you go down Rodfield Road and you take a left on Brook, that area back in there is a lot of D.R. Horton homes. They're selling because he's doing the buy down for buyers, and they're paying a portion of the closing cost. So a smart buyer or a really smart agent would tell the buyer towards the end of the year they have to get rid of their inventory. Not like have to, they want to.
Right.
And D.R. Horton pays cash as they go, so there's no notes to pay off. And so when they want to turn their inventory, they get very, very aggressive, and it's hard to compete.
Yeah.
But Southside is doing incredible. They
So
just
they're
are.
buying down the cost of borrowing the money from the seller's side on the front end of the deal.
Yeah, that's one aspect, and closing costs they're paying. So they're paying closing cost and the buy down.
So-
That's hard to compete as an owner to
Yeah.
sell your home.
So for first-time home buyers, people looking to get into their first place, what kind of advice would you give them?
I think
Get an oil well.
get an oil well. Get a good attorney that'll let
You don't have an
drill.
oil well, get one.
Everybody wants one. You get them qualified. I don't believe you should oversell, especially a first-time home buyer, because there's nothing worse than to be just stuck with a house payment, and you can do nothing else. You make your payment every month.
House poor.
House
Yeah,
poor.
yeah.
You can't even afford to get your air conditioner fixed. So every time I get them qualified, I want them to buy under that.
Yeah.
So that way they can kind of ease into it and get used to a house payment. And then find, like, where is it close to a certain school you want your kids to go to, close to work?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, some people are like, well, I want to be on an acreage, 10 miles outside of Corpus Christi for $99,000.
Nah.
I go, I don't even know where that's at. I'd be living
Right.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's in the hill country now. They say if you want to get out of town, go to the edge of town, then go 10 miles, and then go 10 more.
Yeah.
Because in 2 years you're going to be in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think down in what about in Port Aransas? Are you seeing a different buyer there?
Their buyers are different, because Port Aransas is that proverbial fishing village. Everybody
Right.
knows about it, great restaurants.
Hey, it's a fishing capital of Texas.
It
Yeah.
is.
And I mean, it's a nightlife. They have incredible nightlife,
Right.
good restaurants, but it's a different buyer. It's seasonal. People come and go.
Yeah.
Like if I live there, I would like to know who my neighbor is every day, not every weekend.
You're
a new
probably
person.
not going to because Greg and I were at the city council meeting there when they wrote it in short-term rentals probably 10 years ago now.
Yeah, plus.
And nobody in the room stopped to think, what is this going to mean?
Yeah.
They're all going, they got on the back of the napkin going, wow, I can rent it for, wow, man,
Yeah.
look at all that money I'm going to. But nobody stopped to think, well, this is going to run off all the local residents because nobody can afford to live here.
Well, and that's what happened to Galveston. That was a big thing. Jay Gardner and I were talking about this a while ago because I grew up in Houston, so Galveston and Surfside was where I would go to fish
Yeah.
and surf. And so I was really familiar with that, friends with places and stuff over there. And because of the initial kind of buy-in, like you said, of second homes it turned into STRs, and a lot of them were just vacation homes. They ran off all the local residents, and then it became too expensive
Right.
for people. And then after, I want to say it was either Ike. Yep, I was going to say after Ike, prices over there just
Yeah.
totally jumped up because insurance became so expensive.
Well, and it also knocked out all the low-end market when they rebuilt it. So somebody was paying, say,
Right.
$800.
Yeah.
Suddenly they were looking at 16. The population dropped by 10,000 people. So there were 60,000 people lived in Galveston before Ike, 50,000 after, because
Yeah.
it drove the lower end out.
I think you've seen some of that in Port Aransas.
Yeah, we did after
sure.
Harvey, absolutely.
So, Greg, is there any way to defend against that?
He did it. He kept them out of our neighborhoods. That was when
The
Greg was on
STRs,
the
yeah.
council. That was the fight because there was pressure
Yeah.
to have them all through our neighborhoods. And if you do that, it's not only you. If your neighbor is leasing short term, his house short term, when they sell, they build that cash flow into the sales price. Now all of a sudden, that's your comp, and your taxes go up.
Absolutely, and the appraisal, they'll use more than the market value. They'll use the income approach, and that jumps
Right.
that appraisal way up.
But it changes the whole context of the neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got this transition going on there, and that's why I supported the STR ban with it, because the people living there, they bought it for a reason, and that wasn't to have somebody on the weekends come and
Yeah.
cars going all the way to SPID and noise and garbage. And
I lived in a
everything.
condo, had 8 units, and everybody started leasing short term.
Yeah.
Every weekend, you go out to the swimming pool, and it's full of people you've never seen before.
Yeah, jamming,
And
Kenny
you never
Chesney
see those
at
kids get
Volume
out and
10.
go to the bathroom.
No,
Yeah.
I know that's so, and they don't take care of it. That's a problem
Well, yeah.
with
Yeah.
Airbnb. You have, if you're a registered superhost, say you own the property and you do your Airbnb.
Yeah.
So you have a proven track record. So coming through Airbnb, you have buyers, or well, tenants, I would say, with a proven track record. But the thing about it is they don't keep the property. So as the owner is trying to get in as much cash,
Yeah.
and there's all this wear and tear, and they don't show up with one car or
Yeah.
2
Oh,
cars.
yeah,
So, parking
It-
is huge.
Huge.
That's been the lesson Port Aransas has learned the hard way.
And it is, and let's think of the island with it. There's not much parking to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you've got somebody coming in with 4 or 5 cars,
Oh yeah,
You
good
park
luck
2
pull-
cars on the side of a lot of island streets, and you got to fold your mirrors in to get
Yeah,
down the
well,
middle.
and good luck towing a boat, getting around the corner of
Yeah.
some of those. We're going to take a quick radio break. We will be right back with you. Stick around.
66. Hicks Automotive Group in Corpus Christi has been your trusted family-owned dealership,
Oh, right. That's my
offering the
favorite.
finest
Now,
in
that's my favorite
Mercedes-Benz.
town.
When you
is
going
Mardi
down
Gras.
there?
Oh, I leave the first weekend or the first Thursday of February, and then the next Wednesday because I go to 3 parades.
Are you in a
But I'm
cruise?
going to your parade, and I'm looking for a float right now.
Yeah.
Because ours is after that now.
What's that?
Because ours isn't until the 28th.
I know we're good. Dale said, "Why don't we put a float together?"
We're going to.
I said, "Your wish is my command."
We're going to get it done. Well, and then we do have a trailer. I think we can use the Packery Queen's trailer. It's 40
So from
feet
now
long.
on, when people ask me, which I get all the time, like why it's not during Mardi Gras, why is it later? It should be on the
Tides.
whatever. Tides. But now I'm going to say it's okay. We're going to
Oh boy.
We have the only Mardi Gras parade in the country where we have to schedule it around tides.
There's nothing wrong with that.
This is the first year we
Man, it's windy.
We got lucky the first 2 or 3 years. We didn't even check the tides.
Yeah.
And then one year we were wading through ankle deep water, and after that we checked the tide.
I think it's so fun on the beach. They're cooking crawfish,
Yeah.
sausage, whatever.
half the fun for me, like going up and down. All the parties.
That's the best part, wandering between camps.
Yeah, yeah.
In a suit.
Yeah, in a suit.
Or a bear costume.
They're all
crew.
in costumes too. They're all dressed up and
I will be in my barefoot Mardi Gras costume this year.
And what does it look like?
It's a big bear jacket. It's a bear, yeah. Get it? Barefoot Mardi Gras?
yeah.
I'm wearing my mermaid costume.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
remind your photographer that.
You've seen it. That's funny. Yeah, we first Halloween it was. We actually had a cold Halloween when Josie was about like 4 or 5 months old. Then she had this little pink bear outfit. It was the warmest thing she had. So we had her with that, and she was the little pink bear, and I was the big daddy bear. It was
Oh, I
cute.
love
Yeah.
that.
It was adorable.
You know, one thing I wish they would do like a Halloween tour, you know, because there's so many homes that decorate, like for La Posada for Halloween. There's like 8 or 9 on the island. Wouldn't that be fun? Just one night do a Halloween tour. Not the Halloween night, like the adult Halloween tour.
Yeah,
I
Eagle's
like
Nest
that.
thing's pretty big. The Eagle's Nest Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, Eagles
That's
and
the
Hawks
kid
Nest.
one, but I'm like just a tour houses.
Kid one,
Yeah.
there's plenty
Well,
of
I know
adults.
I didn't want to say. I go there for the
Not that I would
Jello
know anything
shots.
about that.
The Jello shots and the
Oh, yeah,
drinks.
yes.
I love that.
Like the Friday before Halloween.
Yeah, but just something different, just to tour houses.
Sid Harrell, I just is trying this case, this Vivaldi case.
Oh, yeah.
To see if I can get him come on before he goes back
Yeah,
to San
apparently.
He was a prosecutor when I was a courthouse reporter, and then he became a big shot judge.
Here's where our paper is going. I'm looking at the paper. I'm one of the 3 subscribers that still get
Yeah.
it all the time. And I go to the national news, and it's got an article written by some staff writer someplace else about the trial in Corpus Christi. No local coverage.
Somebody, yeah.
I know.
Well, Sid would always get the high-profile cases, so we would always have change of venue hearings. So they parade all the reporters through.
Yeah. No,
I think you're going to have the
Kirsten's out
largest
on
barefoot Mardi
vacations.
Gras
They
this
got
year,
no reporters
and especially into February. The weather should be hopefully a little better.
Yeah, if the tide and the weather cooperate, it's
Having it late.
yeah,
We have a cleanup that day.
yeah. The only other thing stopping us is the cleanup.
I'll see maybe.
All right,
Carter
coming back.
has a Tank, and he could pull our float with his tank.
Now that would be fun.
God, we had the last float I did was the tank.
See, I like that.
It was.
I beat him.
Except we were worried you were gonna run over small.
I know the guy driving it was because when you
could see
start,
it.
it would do like that.
We were watching the kids to make sure that didn't happen, but everybody.
Yes, it is Island Moon Thursday. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you, Etta Conyas, for the nice cut and promo there. We appreciate it. It's a breezy Thursday here, live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks. You can go to islandmoon.com, or later on today, the Island Moon is going to hit shelves. Issue 1134 is out. I'm trying to keep the wind a little bit out of the microphones, but it feels great. It is a gorgeous day. We got Kim Irwin joining us, Dale Rankin, Greg Smith, Dr. Brian Gully, Debbie Nobles here. We've got Uncle Nick Colosi and Tyler Thorson, the man, the myth, the living legend, joins us. Good morning, everybody.
So we've been talking off mic about the barefoot Mardi Gras and Mardi Gras in general. So you're one of the few people on the island who goes to New Orleans every year.
I did. I have.
How long have you been doing that?
This will be my 26th year.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you join a crew? Did you get recruited? How did that work? What's the story there?
I had gotten a divorce and I had to get my groove on, so I thought I'd go to New Orleans.
That
good place
sounds
to
like
do
a
it.
good start for a movie.
Well, it could be movies every year there, I'll tell you.
Well, you got a nice little place right there
Yeah.
by Preservation Hall. I've been there.
Yes.
Yeah, I've
Little,
been there. I
uh,
want to thank you again. We've stayed at your place a couple of times there.
It's
really
fun. You're
nice.
always welcome, and it's in the Marchand House. It's a very old home that has been converted to condos, right across on the corner of Bourbon and St. Peter, just down St. Peter.
I used to live about half a block from there. When the radio WDSU TV station was in the French Quarter, and then who would have thought it caught fire the week after they moved out?
Funny how that works.
Piece
I
of luck
guess.
that was.
Well, I always loved, back when I was younger, I'd go, New Orleans in the fall was always one of my favorite things. As soon as the wind would come
Yeah.
and that temperature would cut down and it was just super comfortable.
I've been to New Orleans when it was cold as the North Pole, and I've been there when it was hotter than Houston asphalt.
Yeah, with 40 feet of water. You know what I mean?
I'll take the
Yeah.
cold. I've been to the Sonesta at Christmas time, and all the guys it's like a movie you're watching.
Yeah, I was walking down that lower hallway in the Sonesta one time. They'd had a bunch of rain, and there was water coming out of the light fixtures, draining down the wall. And we were below sea level, I guess.
Like everybody running around wearing
So
crazy.
when you go down there, Kim, are you in a crew? Do you have a float?
Yeah, so when I got the condo, I got up early one Saturday morning. I was probably the only one on the street because I went to bed early. I didn't know where to go back then. So I was walking around and I saw this beads that say Muses. So I Googled it and it was Crew of Muses. So I went and signed up. It was a 10-year waiting list. But just so you know, I got in on the first year. I knew how to
Yeah.
work my deal.
So what do you do when you're in a crew? You obviously you contribute money to make the float,
Right.
But what else do you do?
They're very philanthropic, so they do a lot of programs. When I first started, they worked at the Lazarus AIDS House, the Children's Hospital, the Eve's House, and what that is for sex-trafficked women, is they would donate money to try to help get them off the street. So we have fun, but we do good things. So we roll on Thursday before Fat Tuesday, and we used to win the Gambit Awards as the #1 crew, the parades, because we're fun. We're very satirical. We will make fun of everyone, including ourselves, and don't be horrified if you see some things on the floats and
Yeah.
feel offended. But our deal is we do shoes. So we decorate like stiletto shoes, all different types, and people stand in line for these shoes. Guys even pull their shirt up begging for a shoe. Where else in the world would you go that they want a decorated glittered shoe?
Well, I'm gonna ask for help from all our friends out there in listener land. I am trying to convince Jace Tunnel to start the creepy doll crew for Mardi Gras and have a creepy doll float in the barefoot parade this year. So we're let's see if we can
Well,
convince
so
them
what
to
do
do
we?
that.
What can we do to get that kind of thing going here for our barefoot Mardi Gras? We need to kick it up a notch.
Absolutely. And, like different businesses they all do, in the golf carts, businesses. And it's getting there. I think every year, I see the pictures.
Yeah.
I try to get here, but once you're in New Orleans, it's kind of hard to kind of want to fly back.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't go away that often.
Yeah.
But I think this year is going to be a banner year. Like, I want to be like a Padre Island mermaid. So I'm going for Mardi Gras, bringing all my mermaid stuff, like suitcases. I'm going to fill Southwest Plain and bring everything back for my girlfriends so they can go as mermaids. But I think it'd be
So
fun.
we need to do a float. So we got to come up. We need to. We'll figure something out. We're gonna do something. I need something to attach my surfboard to.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did, and so I belong to two other crews, and so I belong to the crew of Dolly Parton. Let me tell you what.
Crew of Dolly Parton.
Yeah, that's what the guys say. They're walking. They're like, "Man, I hadn't seen such buxom blonde-haired women all together in my life." But it's fun and it's a good time. And so that's a walking crew through the quarter. And then the other one is the crew of Cork. That's the first one. So all of these crews are limited by numbers for the most part. But the crew of Cork celebrates wine, food, drinks. So within each little group, like my girlfriends, we come up with our own saying, like it's wine o'clock somewhere, gone with the wine merkins, just different things like that. And so we go and walk. That's the longest walking crew, that I
How
do.
long is the walk?
Well, when the police are pouring wine as you go up and down the street in Champaign, it's a very long walk.
All right.
I'm just telling you, you don't pour your drinks. The wine police pour it, and they monitor it.
The wine police.
The wine police. They have it looks like caskets. They have full of ice, full of wine and champagne and local beer. And I have a grand
Dixie
old time.
beer.
Dixie beer,
Yep.
all of it.
Turbo
That's
dog.
funny.
Wait, how do you be in 3 different crews in one parade?
No, I can't. Each one's a different day. I'd be dead. So 2 of them are back to back, Dolly and Musa.
So how do they pay for the floats when you contribute money? Then who actually builds the floats?
That's a good one. Like Endymion is Saturday night, and so we all have what we call a den, our own den, DEN. It's our big Quonset building or big commercial buildings. So a lot of them own their own floats, and they'll hire Mardi Gras World to redo them.
So is it like an old car or something? What's
Oh no, these are like big, like double deckers, and where they're packed on. It's packed with those beads, the shoes, and you're going through. And so, some of the floats might have 60 people on them. It just depends.
Wow.
Endymion has the largest illuminated parade, the long one. That one of the last floats, it's huge, and trying to get it into the Superdome because that's where they have their ball.
Yeah.
It's hard getting them around the dome. That says a lot. How
Well, I'm
big
just
they are.
wondering how we would do that here for Barefoot Mardi Gras. We each crew would. We pull trailers, and
Yeah.
the next iteration is have self-propelled floats. I watched the Rose Bowl parade
Yeah.
this year when I was out there, and they don't have you don't see them pulling trailers.
No, it's their own vehicle, and they go back year after year and rebuild them. And this was
Right.
made using sesame seeds that were raised in Orange County. Oh wow,
Discovered-
that's nice.
But somewhere under all of that,
Femi Credenza, right?
somewhere under all of that,
Right.
there's something making it go.
Yeah.
What is that?
like a
Is-
flatbed or something.
Yeah. There's a motor in there.
They
somewhere.
have tractors that pull them.
Okay.
They're pulled. They're not like They're not like self-propelled motorized that
Okay.
you drive it like a car. They have tractors.
Tractors.
And then they have people that walk along the street because they had a crew where somebody tried to cross where it had the hitch and it cut the person in half.
yeah.
So you gotta
Wow.
in there. The police are lined up just to make sure and try to watch the crowds because those kids, the people, they're so close and you get worried and you try
Right.
to throw it far away.
Well, that's one thing that we always watch out for during Barefoot down here is, you're throwing beads into the wind and it blows it back and then trying to keep the kids from running underneath wheels to to grab
Man,
stuff.
I
That's
was-
always something that people are concerned about.
I was sitting on Bourbon Street one day. I think it was at midnight. It was dark.
It was pretty early then.
And
if it was midnight.
yeah, it was a little phasey, but
Start of the
everything was over, and I look up and I see the New Orleans police. They got shields, and then they got guys behind them on horses, and it's okay. The party's over, everybody. Now you got to get the heck out of here.
Fat Tuesday,
And
they
they
have
take
to
no
shut it down.
prisoners.
No, they'll handcuff you. You go to jail.
I saw a guy punch a police horse, and I thought they were going to beat that guy to death.
I
before
would
they could
jump
get him
in.
out of there.
God, man, it's a horse. Come
It's
on.
a horse, I know, but
He
they have to
punched on
shut
that
it down.
horse.
They go from one end of Bourbon to the other because that's your busiest street, and they shut it down. You can go into the bars and sit.
Yeah.
But you have to get off of Bourbon Street.
Yeah,
When did they put the Purple Fabuloso on the street?
That's
3 in the
usually-
morning?
It's about 3:05. I've been there when they're squirting it out.
Well, we lived there on not far from where your place is, around the corner, and it was just the right distance from Preservation Hall that a hurricane would find its way back up. And so every morning we would walk out in the gutter, and there it would be, what was left of somebody's hurricane from Preservation Hall.
And those hand grenades too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I think we just got to figure out what kind of float we want to build, what we're going
Okay.
to put it on. My idea has always been to be pulled by a dog team.
A dog team would be awesome.
Yeah.
Or you tried to get Riley P. floating at one
I
point in
did.
time.
Yeah, I had the balloon was going to be too big. He was a big old boy, and so I bought the dog harness. I bought a 7-dog harness, and I was going to get 6. I wanted 6 like big dogs, and then my lead dog was going to be a little yapping Chihuahua. But then I got bogged down in the business of finding 6 big dogs to pull me down the beach.
That would get along too.
Right.
Everybody said that's a great idea. Get somebody else's dog.
Yeah.
So my idea was go to the pound, get dogs, and then at the end of the parade have people ready to adopt them.
Right. That's a good idea.
That was my plan, but there was a lot of moving parts.
There's
in
a
that.
lot
Yeah.
of moving parts.
There's a few things in that.
I don't know if it's that easy to organize a sled dog pull sled. I think that's
Yeah.
a little harder to train those dogs.
It
Someone throw
probably
a
is.
T-bone
but-
out in
well,
front
I
of 'em
was
and
hoping that the
party's over.
Chihuahua was going to be the brains of the outfit.
Right.
So February 28th is the Barefoot Mardi Gras down here on the island. It's also the down on Pins. It is the Billy Sandifer
32nd?
32nd, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, 31st and 32nd, Big Shell Beach cleanup. If you'd love to be a part of that, you can go to just look for Friends of Padre on Facebook. You can get more information there. It is a wonderful cause, a great event. If you want to jump in, we prefer people bring 4-wheel drives, but we've got room in a bunch of trucks for some riders, and people can get a ride down the beach and do a good turn, and then show up just in time for all the Mardi Gras fun afterwards. And I'll tell you what, if you're going to be joining in Barefoot Mardi Gras and you are looking to get some swag, right? You need to go to Impact Marketing. Go talk to Ted at Impact Marketing, 361-887-9300. He is your premier promotional products purveyor down here in Corpus Christi. They've got screen printing and embroidery and just about everything you can think of and more. I was talking with Ted a couple weeks ago about a bunch of the new stuff they have. They've got these little devices. I know, it's going to be hot again as soon as we turn around the corner. They've got these internal fans you can sit on your belt and tuck your shirt around it, and it'll blow cold air into your
Right
shirt.
up your skirt.
Up your
Yeah,
skirt.
yeah. If you're, it'll blow your kilt up. Yeah. It's great stuff.
Give it to your girlfriend.
If you need any kind of safety gear, any of that customized things to
Your own best
throw out
friend.
for Barefoot Mardi Gras, go see Ted and the guys at Impact Marketing off of 423 Chattel Street downtown. And
Does he sell moon pies? Ted sell moon pies?
well, I'm sure they can put stickers on the moon pies
Yeah.
for you to sling at the, throw
I
'em
got
at the
some
kids.
left over
Yeah.
from last year, but I need to get
Does he have any feathered
From
boas?
last year.
Yeah. Well, those things don't age. You put those in the atomic shelter because they're good for 20 years. But one thing we need to point out, and we'll have some people from Barefoot on as we get closer, but they've extended the route this year. Last year was the first time it went north from Whitecap up in front of the seawall, which was a great change. But the problem was always before it went Whitecap south, so you had a couple of thousand people lined up on the other side of south side of Whitecap who only just saw the parade make the corner and go up the beach. So this year it's going to start at Briscoe King.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so it's going the entire
Still
way.
going the same
Yeah.
direction. And I talked to Dan Harrington this week. They're going to have a band somewhere there on the seawall, and we're going to televise it on Island Moon Live. We're going to live stream it.
Yeah.
And so for the first year, you'll be able to see what's going on.
So did I hear right? I think someone said that Barefoot Mardi Gras made Texas monthly.
I
while
wouldn't
ago.
doubt it.
Yeah.
Debbie's photos did.
I should know, but I don't.
Well, your
Well,
your
No,
Debbie.
no one has the past. We had a.
Yeah, Debbie Noble was saying.
your
got-
bollard pictures, Debbie made Texas Highway Magazine. So I don't know if that's a paying gig, but it might be.
She's not in it for the fame. She's just in it because she loves
I
it.
see Nick acting like he's making for the door.
I've got to leave. I have a 9 o'clock appointment. So,
Tell us about the
What-
talking of celebrations.
Island
Are
Blast.
we going to have our Island Blast?
Well,
5
actually,
5 minutes. Yes, before I go.
Here we go.
Yes, we are having the blast. It was amazing. I signed the contract last night, and we're going to mail the check today.
yay! Well, we have Brian. Brian helped us out.
Oh yeah. With that Valero, we did all that work. We know the money if it's coming. We ended up that we got surprised that it came in 3 weeks early. Normally he sends it to me the third week or so.
Oh.
And I get a phone call from Tom Bronson, who runs it, and he said, "Well, I've been discovered, and I've got bids all over the country to do the 4th of July, and a lot of them are a lot more money than you have." And I said, "Well, business is business.
Yeah.
Thanks." And he said, "No, we really like you people the way you treat us. You have first choice."
Oh,
Nice.
That says a lot.
Wow.
And that he talks about horror stories where he gets to sites that hasn't been mowed, trash all over the place,
Yeah.
no security, and so I get this, and I don't have the money yet. I'm still short about $4,000. And the next day, a couple on the island called
That's
me
what I
up
heard.
and said, "We'll cover you." So we literally got the money the day after I got the contract.
wow.
So we are on.
Wow.
Nice.
Get
Good
on
to
with
hear.
that.
Way to go.
So we'll still get you'll still get 5,000 at some point from Valero,
Yes.
and that'll put us where probably about a little more than halfway there.
Yeah, we're done now. We need another 14,000 by the 15th of July. The money we've brought in so far, we've got 1,000 in the bank after I write this check today. Valero will come through for 5,000.
Okay.
So that gives us about 6,000.
Then we need to
towards
get.
the
We
14.
need about 15.
Yeah, we
going
need that.
forward. Okay.
And I was talking to the POA yesterday, and they've agreed to let me put the flyer in.
That's good.
The,
That's usually
camp
good
fee.
for 7 or 8 grand.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest money maker we have is that letter. And I was talking to them yesterday that they said they finally agreed and not charge us.
So
for
maybe
it.
what we should do, Kim, is when people buy a house, we put on a fireworks tax of $100.
I can do, I can do that. I'm not paying an unlicensed person.
Get that
I'm paying
50-year
an
loan.
event.
50-year
Yeah,
mortgage.
exactly.
That'd be
that
pretty
letter will
cool.
go out.
So this actually happened at this radio station when Nick brought
Yes.
it up, and we need 5,000, and we're not going to have the show at all, and we're running out of time. And I said, well, I'm about to be in a meeting with
Yeah.
Kyle Sharon, who runs Valero, and let me ask Kyle. And within 30 minutes,
I had a phone call.
and then he called me back, and I had him call Nick, and I talked to also this week on Tuesday breakfast, EDC breakfast. I met with Darcy. And Darcy kind of is their government affairs type
Yeah.
person for
That's the
Valero.
person I'm working with.
And I thanked her as well for the help that she done. And we're talking about the possibility of maybe getting a sponsorship for it, maybe Valero. And so we'll have those discussions. And what I would ask for is half. In other words, if you can match what we can raise on the island,
Yeah.
that would be. I'm not asking anyone to for charity here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you would be willing to, we'll call it the Valero Island Blast or whatever.
Right.
But it would be great, and we would they would match everything that Nick and everyone can collect. And I think
That'd be a great thing. Get a matching sponsor.
No, this was really great when Darcy called me about an hour or two after she met with you. And she's asking me questions, are we really a corporation? Are we 501c3, so forth. And we're talking, and she says, well, how much were you thinking about asking for? And I said, well, I would ask for maybe 1,000 and hopefully you'd get 500. And I hear this moment of silence, and she says, we're talking 5,000.
That's
So
a
we've
good
got
problem
that.
to have.
Absolutely. So we've got this will come out with the POA. And in the meantime, if you want, write a check to Island Blast, drop it off at the POA office, or go to GoFundMe and pay by credit card, scroll down to that.
Yeah.
But with Valero, that gives us almost half the money
Well, we have 3 big events here on the island each year. And La Posada, of course, has been around forever. But in the last, 10 or 15 years, we've added the fireworks, and then and about a little bit before that, Barefoot Mardi Gras. And those are kind of the 3 big events that we do here on the island now.
But it's good. We are on it. We got the down payment. We're good to go. Thank y'all.
Well, good.
Remember, keep contributing. We still need money by the 15th.
Fire in the sky on the 4th of July.
And Darcy, if you're listening, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
I know you listen.
Thank you very much.
So, but Barefoot Mardi Gras is 2 months.
I know.
We'll be here before we know
It's
it.
coming up. So one thing I will do is clear up some stuff because it's bothering me. John Michael did correct and sent in the actual name. It's not just Packery. It is the North Padre Island Stormwater Protection and Environmental Enhancement Project.
We like to protect our stormwater.
Yes, yeah, and that was the name apparently that he came up with.
a nice ring to it.
Sitting in the Pentagon, he came up with that name for it. So thank you for your creativity, John Michael, and look forward to all the help and stuff that you're doing for the seawall and getting that project going. Another thing that someone said on Island Moon Live, you can jump in and comment there in the live chat. They're talking about people pulling the bubbles out of the cruiser canal, and that, yeah, because
Can
they
we
have.
pull those out before we get the
Bubblers.
water exchanging?
Well, you would hope that the water would be moving.
Well, the POA
too
pays
long.
for those, and
Yeah.
and over the years, when back when the German bakery was going in over there, I went in there to talk to the owners, and they didn't speak much English, and but I went over and I got Angela, the bartender, at the office because
She speaks
she
German,
translated
yeah.
for me, and the problem they had is they had a $2,600 charge with the electric company for the bubblers, and they couldn't figure out why they were having to pay this for these. They didn't know what it was, and what come to find out, the POA was reimbursing them for the cost of the bubblers, and when the business shut down, the bubblers kept going, but the POA wasn't paying the bill.
Okay.
And so the POA pays those. I don't know how they do it now, but at that time they would plug into the nearest electric source.
Yeah.
And that's where they called them oxygenators. And I told them I'm not going to call them that because where's the oxygen bottle?
Yeah, exactly.
They're aerators. They're not putting oxygen. They're putting air.
Technically, it's mostly nitrogen, right?
Yeah, and so over the years, but there was a study that was done. The guy that did for many years, he did the water quality study in the island canals, and those bubblers, you can see where they make a difference, but they're kind of a Band-Aid on a bleeding artery.
Yeah.
They help, but they don't hurt, but they don't help much.
Yeah, and I'm ready for these canals to be open. You know.
Yeah, I
I'm-
think everyone is.
Yeah.
So
it's-
we'll
Not everyone.
No,
Yeah.
there's we have an election coming up.
Yes, that's all going to happen online through the
On the
managed
POA
process
board.
system,
I went
right?
through that this week, and they didn't get a quorum last year, so they're trying it again this year. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But they're going to start sending those notices. That's what Nick was talking about.
So another thing that's on the table that people haven't really addressed yet, you brought it up this week in the Island Moon, was the beach parking permit price
Yeah.
going from $12 to $20.
Yeah.
If you show up for a day, $20. If you're
Yeah.
going to be here for a year, $20.
Yeah, and there was talk about that at the ISAC meeting the other night, and the question came up, well, what if, so it's going to go to first the Port Aransas City Council here in a couple of weeks, then it's going to Corpus Christi City Council, I think, next, and then the county, or maybe I got those backwards. But the question is, what if, let's say Port Aransas goes to $20 and Corpus doesn't, then what? You're
So
going to
more
have
people come here.
So you buy your
you're
permit
gonna
on the way up the coast.
Are you going to have 2 permits?
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't think it's going to happen. I think it's all going to go up together.
Yeah. Well, it's been $12 for how many years?
21 years.
21. Yeah. So it doesn't
And they-
really
and-
surprise
So
me.
if you average it out,
And the GLO has come in, and there's and we've talked about it on this show. They're putting in there's a new access road, a couple of new access roads coming in. You're going to have traffic on a part of the beach around the city limits,
Yeah.
where you haven't had it in a while. The beach is very narrow there, and the GLO has come in, and they're going to have to do some beach renourishment, and that costs money.
Well, and there's
And that's what they're going to use the
there's a
additional
new
revenue
access
for.
road that's not open to the public yet, but will be soon. That's just on the south end of Cinnamon Shores, just north of the
Yeah.
Spoonville development.
And they're about to build another one.
And there's another one coming, and that's got a lot of people up in arms.
Well, Greg and I flew that piece of beach back in 2014 on the July 4th weekend, and the beach was jam-packed in Port A and south of Fish Pass, but there was about 6 or 7 miles in there where there was hardly any people.
Yeah.
Because you can't get there. Right. So that's where this access road is going in, but the beach is very narrow in some parts there.
Yeah, it was always one of the best spots we would go when it was crowded. You'd go down there, but you had to have four-wheel drive 95% of the time because it was tight.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to do some beach renourishment. So that it first popped up in Port Aransas, and that's where the impetus for raising the fee to $20 came from. And now it's going to have to you're going to have Corpus Christi sign off as well as Nueces County. They get 8% of the revenue.
So, and they were talking for a while about, because Port A sells way more beach parking passes than Corpus.
Yeah.
And like maybe trying to find some way to either catalog the amount of sales and spread that wealth proportionately.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, instead of just
Well,
everybody
they
gets
do
a
it.
percentage
They
of
dole it.
everything
It
sold.
goes into the city of Corpus Christi now, and they dole it back out by linear feet of beach maintained. And now they're going to go to a keep what you sell system.
Okay.
And when you do that, then you're going to Port Aransas is going to reap the benefits of that.
Well, and this money does the beach fees and all the parking permit fees. Does that go for
Beach maintenance.
for lifeguards?
It has to be used on the beach.
Okay.
And they can use it. They use some of it for lifeguards, but mostly it's beach
Now,
maintenance.
a bunch of my surfer buddies and myself included all have some very interesting kind of concepts and want some clarification on how they're doing this beach maintenance and why. Now, I know around spring break, they always have that emergency lane that's cut clear.
Yeah.
They've tried before during spring break of going to one direction only.
Yeah.
You know,
That didn't work.
Yeah, well, it wasn't very helpful. The other thing one thing that I did like that they did was they had police officers at Zahn Road and then the Newport Pass access road.
Yeah.
And all they were doing is sitting there waving at people, kind of either coming in and out, let them know if their surfboard wasn't tied down or something, but sitting there and actively just kind of looking into vehicles and speaking to people. And you could see a lot of people would pull up and see the police and be like, oh, I guess we're not going in here.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, maybe.
Roll up the windows, man.
Yeah.
Dave's not here. But they stopped doing that. We had one year when all of the restaurant owners in Port Aransas ended up with food, with inventory, because the head of the snake met the back of the snake from Zahn Road in Newport Pass, and nobody could get through.
Yeah.
And so the restaurants in Port Aransas had no customers because no one could get there.
Yeah.
And then so they corrected that the next year, but it was like pulling the plug in the drain. There was no one, then it was jammed. So you had a traffic jam all the way back to Packard Channel from Port Aransas.
Well, and that's something that I'm sure, obviously we're going to have to keep dealing with is kind of traffic on off the island. You can always just go to JFK Causeway Cam on YouTube and check the traffic getting on the island.
Well, what they've done now is, see you, Greg. Thank you. What they've done now is they just let the traffic flow through there. They didn't even, all they cut was an emergency lane last year, I think.
Yeah.
And it's fine. We don't have the huge spring break crowds that Port Aransas has. We don't have the Den of Sin or any of that stuff.
No, we have more families out here, right?
Yeah. Then the locals.
It seems
And our beaches are wide.
The locals have been really great, especially all my shout out to all my buddies around Packery about keeping it, friendly and family friendly.
Yeah.
Some people are out there, they've got kids and dogs and stuff running around,
Yeah.
and everybody wants to have a fun, safe time.
Well, it got dicey for a few years.
It was.
You had the snake handling crowd, and you had a lot of
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you look
before my time.
Yeah, you had some little gang stuff going on out there, and people would leave old sofas, and you couldn't get through there. And then they put in the pit bull ban one year.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they found out that a breed ban is unconstitutional, so they banned all dogs.
Yeah.
And now that's kind of gone away, I think.
Well,
I
I
don't even
think
know
it's
if
just
that-
not really enforced unless you're really being a menace.
Yeah.
And the big group, what Ronnie Narmore calls the Den of Sin. That's
Yeah.
like the big crew of people south of Port A that just,
Yeah.
they're all kids over there wanting to let
Those
off some
mostly
steam and
high
go
school
nuts.
kids.
Yeah.
I used to. I waited in there with the Channel 3 camera a couple of
Well,
years.
you got Lysol in the face.
I
on
did.
Stage,
That's the
right?
last time I
man.
went. I walked. I was a rap guy. Was
That's
up
good,
on
clean
a
fun
trailer.
getting sprayed with Lysol.
That was
Well,
COVID
it was
days.
when COVID came in, and I'm looking at all these people thinking, I probably shouldn't be here. I'm going to get up on the stage. And I walk up on the stage, and there's this big guy with tattoos, and he sprays me right in the face with Lysol. So I
'Cause that
figured,
kills
well,
COVID, right?
yeah, I won't get COVID unless he's in the Lysol
my
can.
wow.
But they backed their trucks up, and they got
Yeah.
hitches with dance poles, brass
Yeah.
poles, and they back them into a circle. And
Well, and
There
we
you
had
go.
Chief Markle on a little while ago, and he said that they have a drone in the air recording and actively monitoring that at all times.
well, that's
Oh,
good
wow.
to know.
And so last year when a fight broke out, they were sitting there watching the mobile command unit
Yeah.
from the drone tracking the people that were involved.
Yeah.
And officers on the ground would walk up and be like, "Yeah, it's a guy in the green shirt hiding under the truck right below you." And I was like, "Yeah, we got you, buddy. Like, sorry, come with me."
Well, they had over the years. You had stuff. Port Aransas used to be kind of out of control. We used to fly the helicopter down every year. San Antonio Chopper 5 goes to spring break, and we
Just
were
to
down
get
here.
that good footage.
Yeah, we were down here one year, and it was a guy from San Antonio, and he ran over a girl on the beach, and instead of stopping, he hit the gas instead of the brake and was dragging her down the beach. And
Oh.
Oh no.
and by the time we got there with the camera, the police had to get him out of there. The crowd was going to probably kill him. They're just beating the crap out of him.
Yeah.
And they dragged him out of the car through the window. And by the time we got a camera there, they had him in an ambulance. But after that, we started seeing some little more stringent enforcement in Port Aransas. And then after one of the years where they had all of the people running down there all of a sudden, I think that was the year they banned alcohol on the beach after 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
was
puts a damper on the party crowd.
That was a huge fix, and you could see, the people that wanted to still hang out and drink would move down to
Yeah.
North Padre.
Pour it in a cup, man.
Yeah,
That really changed the dynamic of all of that to where it was more family than it used to
Yeah.
be.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the problems, all the violence that you had back in those days was local.
Yeah.
It wasn't the people that came down for spring break, the
Yeah.
college kids.
Yeah.
It was the local people here that never went to the beach normally, but at spring break, so they went out there where that was the action was, and then they start these gang fights and stuff, and people get stabbed.
That went on. That was off and on for
Was
years.
You and your family, Brian?
Brian's got to protect his turf.
I know, right?
He rolls.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's serious.
You know,
about
and I want to say something just to relieve this off my conscience. But when they first,
please do.
When they first,
Is this thing on?
Yeah, when they first did that beach parking, I didn't like that because I felt like I was grandfathered into the beach since we had a cabin in the '60s, down
Yeah.
at Mansfield, and I feel like, and we used to go from Port Aransas straight down the beach all the way to Mansfield. There was no
Yeah.
fish pass or anything. So I felt like I was grandfathered, and I don't think I need to buy one of those passes. So as a result, out of protest in the last 21 years, I have never bought a beach pass.
Well,
so
I know
if you
how
see
much
me,
I
you'll
paid-
see me keep moving because I'm not parking.
Right.
got
You
a-
don't need one if you
This
keep
year-
moving.
Oh, that's
this
true.
year, I'm
That's
gonna,
true. It's a
I'm
parking
gonna do
pass,
it.
right?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna finally do it.
It's
as
a
the
highway.
the
You're gonna
moratorium's
break
over.
down and
I'm gonna
give-
break down and buy
You
one
were
this
just
year.
waiting for it to go up to 20.
I was waiting to go up to
Well,
yeah.
well, that's one of the things that came out at the ISAC meeting the other night was why Port Aransas sells more, and one of the possible explanations was they don't write warning. They don't do warning
Yeah.
tickets.
Yeah.
If they go down the beach and see somebody, you get a ticket. That's it, $500 ticket. You only get
Oh.
one of those.
That
On our end of the island, they'll tell them go over there and buy a parking pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there no more. I think that's what they're talking about. Maybe no more Mr. Nice Guy, and we're going to try to work on selling
Yeah.
more tickets down here so we
Well,
can maintain
I know
our
they've
beach.
they've got when you
Yeah.
pull in on Zon Road on like at North Pack, they've got people selling beach parking passes right there most of the day on weekends and everything.
Okay, so they don't have to go to a
But,
store.
yeah, but they also run vehicle to vehicle in like a gator or something. They'll drive through
Okay.
and then jump out,
Yeah.
and you can just Venmo or whatever, pay Cash App or whatever, or cash right there. And
They
get
do that
on
at
it.
White
Yeah,
Castle.
do you then
Sell a
have to
lot
make
that way.
sure you're buying a pass from somebody who's really supposed to be selling a pass in this day of like scams? You can have any
Right,
guy
yeah,
out there with a
exactly. That's not
Venmo
an idea.
account
That's
collecting
just
I will
money.
get you
They might-
3 free parking passes if you give me 7 Bitcoin. That's,
Yeah.
Right. So that's actually that might be a side hustle.
yeah.
Yeah. I never buy one, but I never park or drive on the beach. I walk to the beach and walk on the beach.
Yeah.
I park in the windward
Yeah.
parking
Well,
lot
so,
or on the road.
I've been in the habit of kind of watching people when they'll pull up, because a lot of times the guys that end up getting the tickets are the kids who just drive down from San Antonio and they grab the boards and go paddle out. Well, there's no one sitting at their car. If they were sitting
Right.
at the car and the guy came by and said, "Hey, you need a beach parking pass," I'd be like,
They'd
"Oh
be-
yeah, here you go."
Right.
Right.
And so I've seen a couple people even buy beach parking passes for people that are out, and they're like, "Oh, that's my friend. Like, I'll buy one,"
Yeah.
And they'll buy it for him when the guy comes in. He's like, "Dude, you owe me $12," and he's like, "What do you mean?"
Well, it sounds
20.
like
It's going to be 20.
Yeah.
it sounds like Bob Hall Pier will be open by spring break this year. They came out, they pushed the opening date back late yesterday to February. They're
Yeah.
having trouble getting some material in or something. But
Yeah.
it'll be open by spring break. It went from January to February, back to January. Now it's back to February. But it will be open.
It's looking good.
The question is, will our canals be open by spring break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody taking the over the under on that one?
I'm guessing no.
Yeah. That's that one's. I can. A lot of that still revolves around the Army Corps, right? I think they have to
For
give
the-
the final blessing.
For the Commodore's
And,
Bridge.
and you're waiting on a lot of the correct dominoes to fall all at the same time. The city's looking at the POA. POA's looking
Right.
at the city.
Well, I think when just my guess is, based on what I've been told by the people that are involved, that when the Commodore's Canal is opened, the dam will come out at Lake Padre. Those two
Yeah.
old things will happen together, whenever that is.
Yeah. I've heard somewhere that there was an extension possibly that was filed for 90 days after the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
To
But
get
it's
that going.
it's the wheels grind slowly, but they move.
Yeah, well, and the whole thing. Someone, I think Frank McNiff and the girls were talking about this yesterday about like Lake Padre has been set up and ready to go for a long time, but no development has really.
Yeah, have you heard
happened
anything
yet.
over there, Brian?
I have not. We are talking about yesterday. I need to call Tim Lang and see.
Yeah. So, Kim, have you heard anything about the Whitecap MPI or Lake Padre? Where are people waiting on, interest rates or something to come down? What's the?
I had the strangest call. It was last year and a half ago. So it was a realtor who sold a lot of real estate on Ocean Drive. I'm not supposed to say his name, but Robert Day's family lives in Houston, and they wanted to hire a marketing team to start the pre-marketing. So they called. They just wanted free comps. Just tell me the truth. I'll get you free comps. Don't
Yeah.
say
Right.
you're going to get to list one lot or whatever.
Right.
So I got them everything and put together the whole market analysis of what was on the existing side versus there, and it's been crickets. But I know that they've got their marketing plan. He
Right.
told me that they did.
Well, they did. When you're talking about interest rates, one of the things that they found over there is that their buyers are not particularly interest rate sensitive.
No.
They're writing checks.
Yeah.
They write checks, 401. They'll go against 1031 tax deferred exchanges. That's huge out here.
Yeah.
You know, to
Describe that.
defer
Go
capital
into the
gains.
details on that. What's a?
What is
1031?
that?
Oh, on the 1031 tax deferred exchange, an example would be, let's say you sold a condo for $100,000 and you want to roll it over into the next property. You have to spend $1 more than the previous sale. You have 180 days to close it. The first 45 days of the 180 days is designation of properties. So you really have to know you're going to buy these. I've seen buyers
Yeah.
where all of their choices sold, and you're dealing with the government, so you're not going to go to the IRS and put
Right.
fake properties on. And if you do the 1031, you defer that capital gain, roll it over into the next property.
Which is what, about 15%?
depends on their tax bracket.
20 can be as high as
Yeah.
25%.
It's a
Depends
lot
on
of
what
money
tax
when you're
bracket
looking at
you're
$1 million.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
So you got to put, if you take it out of real estate, you got to put it back into real estate. And if
Right.
you're doing that, you're a cash buyer.
It's cash. It is cash. And you
'Cause
hire
you
an
can't be
intermediary.
dependent on selling this to get that.
You
or
kick
because
you
it-
kick the
you've never-
tax down the road. Someday you or
Yeah.
your kids are going to sell that property maybe, and that point you pay the taxes on it, the capital gains taxes. But as long as you can keep kicking it down the road, you never pay those taxes.
You don't have
So
to
do
pay
you have
it.
to just keep buying and selling?
Well, that or just hold on to it. And they have
Yeah.
like the
Right.
reverse 1031s. There's some really unique properties if you want to invest your money. There's a lot of different little quirks with that. I use a guy out of Dallas. Robert Morris with Security Title recommended him to me like 20 years ago. And I send a lot of people, but he gives you free information. So say, Dale, you wanted to do a 1031. I give you his number, Craig's number. he doesn't charge anything. He will tell you how to structure it. And then if you want to use them, which you probably would, that's where they make their money. So they're the intermediary. Because
When you say a reverse, what does that mean?
you're reversing it's backwards, like building a house.
Yeah.
Say if you're going to build a property, a like property. So you sold the first property, and the second property won't be ready for 180 days. So
okay.
you're kind of doing a
I
reverse
see.
1031.
But you can never sell your property in trying to make money.
Well, you can
because-
make money, but you have to roll it over to the next property.
Right, but I thought you said it had to be $1 more.
Well, it is. So you should make money on each sale, I would hope,
Yeah.
just
Right,
saying.
yeah.
But it's $1, and you can do
$1 or more, you mean?
Yeah, but you can do a combination of properties to spend $1 more than the previous property sold for.
And as we were talking about property taxes earlier, Dale's got an article and found some interesting stuff out from the Texas Comptroller's office this week.
They release numbers for all the cities in Texas, all the school districts, all of
Yeah.
the emergency service districts, all of the counties, all of the hospital districts. So I went through cities this week,
Yeah.
and I'm going to keep going to see hospital district. I mean, college district is
So
going
for,
to be on my
for the
list.
people around us, if you're wondering the greatest hits, Taft comes in at a .89 and change.
Yeah.
Sinton at a .78 and change, followed by Kingsville, then Ingleside, then Portland, then Beeville, then Alice, and we're just under Alice. Alice is at a .61 and change. We're at .59. A little
Yeah.
further down is Agua Dulce at .5. Port Aransas at .02.
They're way down at the bottom.
Yeah, and Ingleside on the Bay coming in at a .19.
So they're at the 0.2, and we're 0.5. So they're
Almost
less,
0.6.
Almost
Yeah.
0.6.
less than half property taxes.
No.
Yeah.
That's a big hit when you're talking to a potential buyer, I would think.
It is. And you have to tell them up front what the cost of insurance and taxes, you're wasting your time. Because there's people that, when you come across the bridge, you should see you're surrounded by water. Wouldn't you kind
Yeah.
of guess you might need flood insurance?
Right.
Or
But
something
not
like
everybody
that?
thinks of that.
Right.
They don't think about that, and it's expensive.
Well, one thing I've noticed is that the price of home improvements or people working on your house, it pretty much doubles when a work truck comes over the bridge. Right?
It does.
They look around, they see the neighbor's swimming pool, and they go, okay, well, did I say 5,000? I meant 12,000.
I meant 5,000 down now and
Yeah,
7 later.
yeah. I had a guy come look at my house. I had some sheetrock I needed to have out because I had mold in there, and he's kind of scratching around on the price, and he walks out back and he looks around, and the first thing he said was, "Man, you guys live a different lifestyle out here." And then then he came back with an estimate of $50,000, and I told him the bridge is that way.
Yeah.
So, Kim, are we going to see you this afternoon at the Padre Island Business Association lunch?
Yeah.
It's lunch today.
You know what? I'm an hour-by-hour girl. I never know what I'm
Who's
doing.
the
I
speaker
really
today?
don't.
Today it's Brooke Kaufman from
I
Visit
saw-
CC.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be there.
So that's at Hard Knocks for anybody who wants to go
Well-
do that. You
well,
buy your
Kim-
lunch, listen to her.
As a real estate person selling property on the island, what would be the thing that you need the most in terms of inventory? What could you sell the quickest?
Mid-range priced waterfront homes. I mean,
Mid-range priced
If you
waterfront.
look at it, like some of the homes that sell for like, I'm just using an example, 850,000 a few years back was 650. So $500,000 used to be a high price. Now it's a medium price. And here's what's interesting: there is so much appreciation built into these homes. So when the market drops, people think the market's dropped out. It's
Yeah.
actually coming to the true actual value of what the house is worth. And everything's based on location. So what I see is there's a lot of older homes that need a lot of work. Beautiful locations, point locations on the canal. Those are the ones that are going to be purchased, torn down, and a brand new one put up. That's what I
Yeah.
see the trend.
$300,000
location.
teardowns, $500,000 teardowns.
John Mark at the end of Ala Entrada, I sold him, I think it was Bill Barry's house. And I mean, it was fallen in, and then the lot to the left, as you stare at the house,
Yeah.
was part of the estate. Then the people with that $1 million house to the right, over $1 million,
Yeah.
he tore all 3 down. He is on 3 lots at the end of Ala Entrada.
Well, I knew Bill Barry, and his house needed to be torn down. That thing was a pile of rocks.
it's like walking in a fun house. It's
I
kind of
mean,
tilted.
he
You don't
had
know
a
where
whole
you're going to go.
colony of cats in there.
Let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff in that house, and it was dangerous. I
Yeah.
mean, you walk out and the
The deck was falling in.
Yeah.
upstairs in the bedroom, the wall split. I've never seen. It was like 2 feet in the ceiling. You could see the sky.
Oh,
and it was
that's
still
crazy.
there.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
It was.
Well, how many vacant waterfront lots are left now? about 100.
Under 100. And some of these lots are in the family for like second and third generation. They don't want to sell.
Yeah, I was going to say that. How many are there for sale? Because not all of them are for
They
sale.
don't wanna
right?
sell.
Yeah.
So instead of buying an empty lot, you buy a house and tear it down.
But that's exactly it. Rick
But you gotta have
Garrett's
money for that.
house at the end, of 3 Fathoms, right before the 08, that person bought it and just took it all the way down to the studs and redid that house. That was that Big Point lot.
Yeah.
And that's where I see the direction going is they're going to go for the location and tear the house down.
Huh. Well, it seems like that would drive some sales at Whitecap NPI because they're building new houses in that price range
Right.
that are on canals.
Right.
That are going to be fully serviced with all amenities,
The
pools
pool,
and so on.
gym, dog park.
It's really
Nature
cool.
preserve.
But you have to look
little
at your
restaurant.
waterfront, though. People want to go fishing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you got to have defined water, defined decks if you're going to have a boat.
Yeah.
But in this case, they're going to have the storage. It's a
Right.
very good concept. I think it's just a personal preference issue.
Yeah.
That's really what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can build your own dock on those.
Yeah.
You can build a little dock on
Well,
those canals.
they say that only about 60% of the people who live in a waterfront house have a boat.
Do you know how many actually use their decks and docks? Very few.
No.
I'm guilty
I-
as
I-
charged.
No, I believe that.
I live on the water and I don't have a boat.
Well, I got 3, so I make up for you.
Yeah,
We
and
have-
you
we
use them,
average
and you
out.
use them.
But not one beach parking permit.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah,
All right.
Matter of
It's-
principle.
It's a beautiful Thursday out here, nice and breezy at Doc's Seafood and
Yes,
Steaks
it
here. A
is.
gorgeous Island Moon Thursday. Special thanks to all our guests who came out. I had Nick Colosi, and congratulations and thank you, Dr. Gully, for and big
Absolutely.
thanks to Valero for
We out
jumping
of
in
time?
and helping out Island Blast. We are about out of time, and if you look out in the distance, you can see the slow, inevitable rise of the mushroom cloud of truth.
I can see him right there.
Yeah, Eric Von Wade is here. We're going to jump right into the Eric Von Wade show here, coming in at about 9. Kim Irwin, our special guest today, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I had a great time, and I can't wait for Barefoot Mardi
Barefoot
Gras.
Mardi
Oh,
Gras.
I'm happy that you're
Look
going
for
to
us
be here
on the
this year.
big-ass
That's awesome.
float.
So many things coming. We're going to hit you with some radio commercials, and I'm going to go reload this sarsaparilla, and we'll keep it rocking.
No, I'm excited. It'll be fun.
What's the date of that?
February
February 28th, to the very end.
It's last year.
Let
It was
me
May
make it
1st.
happen. You know, my last one I tried to do, I was going to do.
Nope.
That's the last day.
It's the last day of February.
You posted.
A giant bullhead that blew smoke out of its nose. And like we never, we got to the smoke, we got the bullhead, but we never got the nose out of it. Yeah, we need to dry out.
Kim, that was awesome. Thank you.
Good to see you, Kim. Always a pleasure.
Feel free to stick around. Did you get a chance to go through any stuff? Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for coming.
What is that? The Business Association?
You want to have a...
It's new. The doors open at 11:30 for lunch, and speakers at noon. It's Broke Top. New. The doors open at 11:30.
They'll start, the speaker usually starts about 22 minutes after. You get there, you slide right in, you get the speech, and I'll ask before the vaccine. I have an idea for you. Be inspired. As an event, we need to have raise the temperature, how many koalas does it take to pull down on a sled? I could see how much koalas it would take.
One really big chihuahua.
Yeah. I'm saying, yeah. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, that's right. You know, they are the most ferocious.